told this is the favorite part of the show for some people. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to a long-awaited another episode of Creation Science Theater. It's been about 3 months since season 2 started. Sorry
Has
about
it?
that.
I knew it had been a while, but I didn't look.
Yeah, it's been quite a spell. But hopefully we'll have fun tonight, bringing it back. Not certain for how long. I guess we'll see.
Hell yeah. So you as
okay.
you say, but forgive me, I'm still in interview mode from this past weekend. What have you been up to while you've been off doing things?
I've been up to quite a bit. Actually, I've shared a few details on my channel and on others, but I found a couple really productive fossil sites out here in Wyoming, and hopefully, well, actually, not hopefully, we are excavating later this year.
Hell yeah.
Probably going to wait for the snow to go away because snow sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I'll be helping to dig up some pretty fossils, and I've been invited to things. I can't say what things, but I've been invited, so I'm excited.
Hell
You
yeah.
can't see my face right now because I'm a little under the weather and I'm like laying down right now, but like I am beaming. You just, I don't have my camera on for tonight, but I'm like smiling ear to ear, Doc. Like that's so happy, like to hear that.
I appreciate it, and you know some of the things that I can't say in public.
Well, hey, maybe there could be some kind of game we could set up to where maybe you could leak you could spare a detail or few if people really wanted to. I don't know, maybe. I'm just trying to propose.
Yeah, we could do 20 questions or something. If you don't say and we guess, that's,
As tempting as that is, my cohort in my research has a gun, and I know she will use it.
I didn't know you were hanging out with Erica.
Not her, though. I would love to invite her to see some dinosaurs.
I actually don't know if Erica owns a gun. I have no idea.
I think she does. I think she's mentioned it in some videos. Which, you know what? I don't blame her one bit.
Well, maybe then maybe we could just ask people, if they personally found something exciting, what would they name it? Just something exciting.
Sauropelta number 12. We're up to 12.
That you can get. I think the audience could get a little bit more exciting than Sauropelta number 12.
Yeah, like Samantha.
Well, there's sauropod number 5.
Samantha is a great one. I feel like Samantha's probably already taken though. Is there not already a big dinosaur specimen named Samantha? I mean, if Sue is taken, Samantha's right there.
I'm going to look that up because I'm curious.
Is there a list? There should be a list because otherwise you're going to get stuff double named.
Yeah,
you can't dinosaurs.
Like Sue is off.
Hey, Wikipedia has a list of informally named dinosaurs.
Wonderful. Is Samantha on there? Because I just have a feeling it's got to be some like really badass carnivore.
Let's see. Samantha.
But Ember, you're 100% right. Like Sue is off the table. Like nobody can name a specimen Sue now. So like it's like a one and done kind of situation. So if Samantha's not taken,
I mean, you can name your dinosaur Sue, but it won't be Sue.
Yeah.
But there's two.
Ooh, I forgot about this one. The Archbishop.
Whoa, wait, what species is that?
It's a Brachiosaurid.
That's perfect. I can just imagine him with a little hat.
That's a fun name. Let's see. I'm curious.
I love dinosaurs with hats.
Fun ones.
I'm here for it.
Like you could just see him like the Archbishop has arrived, And then like with like the Jurassic Park thing, na 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 na, and he's got the little hat on.
Ooh, Cryptoraptor. That's a fun one.
Crypto Raptor. Well, he
Or
sounds like he wants to sell me something.
or Cryptotyrannus.
Okay,
He
yeah,
wants to buy things.
yeah, he's here to buy. I agree with Anarchic Fox in the chat that all dinosaurs needs hats now.
Oh, I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing this. I just realized I've been going through these and I didn't have it on screen. It's been a
That would
while
be
since
so
I've done
cool.
this.
Wait, was Franco Poseidon one right there? Did I just see that?
Franco Poseidon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the
French
French
earthquake
earthquake
god.
god.
Okay.
Yeah,
If anybody
that
out there
works.
right now listening is named Frank, like you know what must be done.
Oh, there's probably someone out there. I know
Wait,
there's a
stop,
long
stop,
list.
stop. Go up a little bit.
Oh,
Do it. Stop. Oh, I thought I read Cumingosaurus. It's Cunmingo. Okay,
Cunmingosaurus.
that is
Do
yeah.
we
You
want to keep
cannot
going
be
through all
scrolling
these?
that
Because there's
fast.
a lot of them, but some are funny.
You cannot be scrolling that fast with names like that.
After a while, you start to. Oh, Megacervixosaurus.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Well,
It was fun.
Oh, and then there's Microcephalae. That's fun.
I saw that. I'm like, Newtonsaurus,
Newtonsaurus.
not Newtonosaurus, just Newtonsaurus.
Is there
Yeah,
does anybody know, is there an Einsteinsaurus? Is there a dinosaur named after Albert Einstein yet?
I don't believe there is, but if you want to change that.
Ah.
I mean, he's got his
Oh,
own element.
Sorry.
Scuttling?
Scootling.
Scootling.
It's a baby ankylosaur. They're called scootlings.
And its name
Okay.
is Pawpaw, the Scootling?
Yeah, it's from the Paw Formation.
All right. Somebody send the rights to a children's network immediately.
Yeah, that's
For
kind
real.
of cute.
Ronald.
Scootling.
The Ronald Raptor.
Oh no.
Damn it,
Oh, dear.
Ronald.
Sabinosaurus.
Shake and bake theropod.
Okay, wait, they must be stopped. Whoever did that must be stopped.
I bet I know how that was found.
Okay, but like none of these are like just Samantha.
That which cannot be named.
Oh,
Oh,
my
of course
God.
it was named by Darren Naish. Of course.
Damn it, Darren.
Do you want to maybe elaborate what you mean by that?
Well, it
Darren
cannot be
Naish
named.
Darren Naish is a British, or at least based in England, paleontologist who's known to be a little eccentric, but also a really, really nice guy, at least according to the people I've talked to who know him. He does stuff like that a lot. He also has a very good blog and a convention that he runs every year called Tetzu, or Tetrapod Zoology. Highly recommend it.
You know, like to a certain degree, I appreciate how memorable some of those are. Like, at least like if you're a student and you're trying to learn these names or memorize them, you're not gonna forget, like, that which will not be named. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
You may have a hard
you want
time
to make it
remembering what
memorable
it
to people.
describes, though.
Is that which cannot be named? I think it's said a tyrannosauroid.
See, you already can't remember for sure.
The
Oh,
curse.
yes. Small Silurisaur from the Isle of Wight. That is probably a tyrannosaur, but is in a private collection, which I love to
Well,
hear.
all the future generations of paleontology students will appreciate him and his eccentric naming.
Well, if you've seen Prehistoric Planet, he was the main scientific consultant on that.
Yeah, that was a great series.
He is the reason why there are so many pterosaurs. He
I
loves
actually
his
was just last week I was rewatching the sequence with the Therizinosaurus.
With the honey? Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
cool.
that was great. And like the little ones playing around with like the little honey, and then the big one just comes and swats it down with its giant mega claws.
Yeah, in season 2, uh he went off again with the pterosaurs, and there's a scene where a group of giant pterosaurs hunt a herd of dwarf hadrosaurs.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
It's really cool. But with that said, we are 10 minutes in. Uh, Before we officially get started, I do have one thing to say, and that is this is not officially a fundraising stream, uh, but I am uh, trying to get out of this hotel room that I'm currently in. So if any generous members of the audience want to help me with that, please feel free to send a super chat on my channel, or on my version of this stream, I have Venmo linked as well.
Also,
If you
Doc
want
is
to help
doing a
me,
bunch of cool, like, sciencey, awesome stuff with life. So, like, help him out, like, in
I
general, just to make that life a little bit more smooth for those things. Because, like, you are going to want to see what's on the horizon. Let me just say, stay tuned here on this channel. Stay tuned with what Doc's got in the pipeline. And, like, in like a few months, like later on this year, you're gonna be, you're gonna be like, oh wow, like just you're gonna be excited and you're gonna be happy that you like helped contribute to it. So stay tuned.
thank you, Grayson. And yeah, like right now, I'm staying in a tiny hotel room. Uh, I can't do a lot of work in here, to be honest, which is why I'm trying to save up for a proper apartment, which hopefully I might be moving into soon, but that takes money.
It sure does. And, you get it's not even the rent. It's the rent plus the first month, the last month, the damage deposit or whatever they call it. It's
Plus a little
Yeah.
something we like to call the unforeseeables.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
renter's
it's
insurance.
lovely. Yeah, I gotta get that. Well, at any rate, shall we begin with our videos of the night?
Yay!
Okay. And our first one is a little appetizer coming from everyone's favorite, well, we're 10 minutes in, asshole. Um,
Cliff?
Matt Powell.
Oh, Matt.
7 billion people, I think it's nearly 8 billion people came from 2 people. I mean, that's gotta.
Yeah, but evolution asserts that 8 billion people descended from a rock. What do you guys think?
And we're already there.
Okay, 0 to 100.
I need my straw man graphic. My goodness, I can put it in my chat anyway. Wait, do we have the straw man? Did we vote on that one? Yeah, there he is.
Do you have a straw man emote?
Yeah.
Nice.
He just goes right. Yeah, but it's a rock though.
Yep, that's his immediate defense. But, of
I
course.
mean, we all know he gets that from Kent Hovind. You believe that, it rained on the rocks and the rocks evolved into life. But even when you see Kent present that, occasionally he will like show a screenshot of like a news article that links to an article by an origin of life researcher, geologist. And
Mhm.
I emailed that guy and asked him, hey, do you agree with the characterization of your work as life evolving from rocks? And he said, no, that's ridiculous. And like to a straw man to such a degree that it was just basically, I think he called it malevolent or something. Like,
I would
yeah,
agree with that.
he
Yeah,
said it in no
malicious at least.
uncertain terms.
But it gets so much worse than that, because even though it's a ridiculous straw man, it does have malicious intent. It's still more rational than what Matt is proposing, which is a man was created out of dust with a golem spell and then magically had a rib removed and poofed into a woman. A rock actually makes more sense than that.
Well, I think
Well, not
the
if you
most
have a brain the
charitable
size of
reading,
Matt's.
the most charitable reading of Matt's worldview that I could possibly give in the face of that, Ember, is that the difference between his very uncharitable and untrue straw man about life evolving from rocks versus what you described accurately is that his worldview allows for God magic, and the other one is supposed to be a straw man of a natural secular view without God magic available for such shenanigan tomfooleries. So that is the most charitable that I can possibly be here in saying that, well, you have not accounted for God magic, have you?
Exactly. Yeah. Like our steel man of his position versus his straw man of ours, and the straw man still wins.
Yeah.
I think we came from, like, initially.
A rock.
Oh, I you can see her messing with him. She
What do you
knows.
think? Do you think we came from a rock?
No. I don't believe that one bit, but
What about this? Maybe you believe this. Evolution study surprises experts. Was your ancestor a ball of jelly? Do you think you're
Okay, so out of curiosity, do either of you know what this study actually says?
I have
No,
not
but
seen it, but I
I'm
can
excited to
confirm
find
I am still a ball of jelly.
out. Well, we all know that the ball of I guess a ball of jelly is closer than a rock. Like one might say, like you could maybe have like a slur against like early prebiotic chemistry, calling it a ball of jelly. Like that would be more accurate than a rock. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
But it depends on what you think of as jelly.
So it looks like so first off, I'm pretty sure this is an article written about a study. But the original study seems to be about a contentious topic in evolutionary biology.
If you find the original study, can you link it?
If I can find it, I will. Oh, okay, I found an article that links to a National Geographic.
Because I would be curious about what they are characterizing as like jelly, and if it's just like some sort of like early protein chemistry, because most jellies are like basically based on proteins of some degree or another, or carbohydrates. I mean, jelly that we would think of are some sort of like organic slimes or something are going to be composed of the basic stuff of life. So like you're much closer than you would be as saying like a rock. Like at
Okay.
least you've got organic molecules this time.
Okay, I got the link. Putting it in the private chat. So,
Cool.
In summary, there's been a debate raging for a while about what the most basal animal is. So, the most primitive, in air quotes, multicellular thing that eats other things. The main options have been something like a sponge or something like a comb jellyfish, which is basically just a floating bag in the ocean. And this study is on the side of the comb jelly rather than the sponge. That's it.
It has like absolutely nothing to do with like abiogenesis at all.
No, this is about some of the first animals, which is already quite a ways through the evolutionary process.
So when they mean ball of jelly, they actually meant like a jellyfish.
Like a comb jelly.
Okay. Well, I just took that in a completely different direction, given that the question immediately before that was, did you believe you evolved from a rock, which is a clear question of abiogenesis. So like, just like how they just weaseled that in there, like just like with no pause in between, just jumping from one subject to a completely different field of science like that.
Well, I mean, it's Matt Powell. He's not going to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's been well established.
Your ancestor was a jellyfish?
no,
What about like shrews, ancient rats?
no.
They say we all descended from a shrew, so I don't know. What you don't believe any of that?
No.
Shrew-like, as in again, in air quotes here because the word, but primitive mammal. A shrew is pretty close to what the ancestor of most modern mammals would have looked like. That's it.
Yeah, this man's up in here denying he's a freaking mammal.
I mean, what is the even premise of this video right now? Am I supposed to be impressed that an undergraduate like PR major doesn't accept the theory of evolution? Is that supposed to honestly change my mind or make me think anything about it?
Nope, it's just for Matt to preach and show videos of him preaching because he is such a good preacher boy.
I
Oh,
don't
right.
think I
I
don't think it's
forgot.
a
I forgot about the good old narcissism fuel.
that's true too. But I don't think it's so much the prove evolution wrong thing. It's the same thing as Ben Shapiro does. It's demonstrate to his audience that you don't actually learn anything at college because look how stupid all these college students are. So, forget about education. Everything you need to know you can get from the Bible.
That's also it's a good point, Ember, in bringing up Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder is another one that does this trick of, and Charlie Kirk going to these college campuses specifically to engage people that they have ideological differences with, whose prefrontal cortexes still haven't fully developed yet, so that they can like quote unquote own them or whatever, like literally just with like over a decade's age difference, and like try to like own some college undergrad and act like you did some whole big thing.
And the best part is half the time they get owned instead. Or
Yeah.
in Matt's case,
Yeah.
90%, but
Yeah,
whatever.
they still have to edit out all the ownage.
Yeah.
Well, the fun thing is, as this video goes on, I'm pretty sure that he's at some kind of Christian college or something, or at least that's the impression I
boy.
get from people he interviews. Also, Ember, you have Emberships.
I do. Yeah. Thank you, Jedi. Jedi gifted 5 Emberships. Those went to Faransalis, Hollyhock, Toas. I don't know if I can even pronounce that. Chrysokoyan, Brachyrus. My apologies. I can't pronounce that. And the algorithm hasn't picked the last one yet. It's been weird lately. But those of you who have been picked to enjoy all the fun custom emojis, the exclusive members only content, and all the other goodies, occasionally random member streams, all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Jedi.
Right.
Woo.
Let us continue.
Not a single piece.
Oh, and I will say really quick, if you want to be a member on my channel, you can become an unaccredited nugget. I can finally say that again.
That privilege.
Well, I had to have some fun with my memberships. So, what were the names I picked?
You too
I
can
know-
be a ball of jelly.
Yes, I know unaccredited nugget is the lowest one. Oh, come on, YouTube, you can show me.
I
Oh,
still
it's in
haven't
here.
named my channel memberships. Maybe the lowest tier should be like evolved from a rock.
You should. It can be funny. Oh, looks like all of mine are associate wings right now. No,
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm showing associate wings, but that just might be like the default. If there's multiple levels, there might be a higher, there might be a lower. Who knows?
Yes. Okay. So unaccredited nuggets, associate wings, bachelor drumsticks, master thighs, and PhD pollos. Because why not?
Absolutely. I mean, they're dinosaurs technically.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Well, where do you think we came from?
I'm not sure, but I know not a rock or a jelly.
Hey guys,
Hi.
I don't know if you guys heard or not, but we found one of our earliest ancestors.
Oh boy.
All right.
Can you guys guess what it was?
No, I don't particularly follow.
It's a
normal
phone.
science.
Check it out. Was your ancestor a ball of jelly? Evolution study surprises experts. They're now claiming we
Who
descend from a
edited this
jellyfish.
shit?
How do you guys feel about that?
There's
Probably
all,
Matt.
There's all this big empty space up in the upper left corner, and they put the graphic right over the freaking kids he's talking to.
Probably Matt.
I mean, of all of the things that are making me mad about watching this, that was not one of them, but now it is.
No, I get it. I get it, Ember. I get it.
Yeah, this is
That-
like,
I mean,
honestly, I even more so than being frustrated or annoyed. The number one thing that watching this is making me feel is just I am cringing so hard internally, like just watching Matt engage these people that like they don't care about any of this. They don't know what kind of weird creationist SpongeBob news article he's trying to show them. Like they're just like hanging out, trying to do their work and enjoying their time together. Matt Powell's just invading their space and like acting all like weird and smug, and it just like I'm like it just is such a cringe-worthy affair.
I mean, what's in that tub down there? Are those like orange blocks? Do you think these are engineering majors?
I thought they were circus peanuts because they're
Cheese
college
puffs.
students and they're starving.
Huh? Could be.
as part of my religious beliefs and further study, I don't quite believe evolution is the most applicable answer to the creation of life.
You don't believe we descended from like a fish or anything like that?
No, evolution is not quite possible with our understanding of current genetics. Typically, mutations are caused by the deletion of genetic code, which would be disastrous for most life forms. Any sort of mutation, any sort of addition or creation of genetic code.
See, he just feels like a plant to me, but
I'm wondering if they all know Matt Powell's on campus and so they're just all trolling him.
Yeah, I mean, I
What
gotta
do we
say, I was wrong. I thought that these were a bunch of normal college kids that wouldn't care about this topic, but he found like the one dude on campus who's just like raring to go off about genetic entropy. Like he's probably about to name drop John Sanford right now. Like I am just like I'm in shock.
well, there's this kid. This kid over here is wearing a God T-shirt. You can see it when they pull back a bit.
Okay, yeah,
And
where is
the
he?
kid
You're
in
right.
back here has a hawk holding a cross.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, that's not Chris the fascist at all.
Code is always going to require considerable amounts of effort. And so, to
But bro,
believe-
like, no offense, but you're like a dinosaur because everybody believes in evolution. Like,
it's also a theory. Theories can be tested and proved wrong.
okay,
Oh, you're a freshman, aren't you?
so like you don't believe life came from a rock or anything like that?
Why would life come from a rock? Rocks don't have genetic code.
Well, here it is. And I was
There
actually
you
going to
go.
ask you
even
guys
the
about who your
Christian
first
students
ancestor is.
think he's dumb.
It's actually a rock. Check this out. In science today, you owe
Great
your
Doc
life to a
Fawcett.
rock.
Yep.
That's a great point, Ember. Even these people who have like clearly, demonstrably been thoroughly brainwashed with all this creationist slop, even they, when Matt Powell asks them his central question, which he feels like is such a little gotcha that he's parading it around the public, trying to like have a whole video. Look at me. I came up with this question that just stumped all of these people. Evidence of creation about evolved from rocks. Even these people who are the most primed of any potential audience, the most receptive for this question to land, even these people are like, what are you talking about? What kind of stupid, inane question are you asking me? Like everyone is just like, nobody is impressed by this stupid question, and nobody thinks it's a stump or an own, not even on his own side, even among these people, his own primed audience.
Matt's failing out of Bible college.
Also, I agree with Anarchic Fox here. He might have just found a Bible study group.
Yeah.
Also, these are great. These would have been great faces for a thumbnail. I'm just
Oh my
For
God.
real.
Yeah. Wow.
How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, she face palmed.
Other dude's like, I'm out. I'm
Would
on my
that
phone.
be possible?
It's science. I mean, they say so. I trust the experts.
Okay,
What did
do
the
you mind
experts say?
leaving us be? I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
it feels like
Thank
he's just
you.
trying to show us articles on the phone and get a reaction.
Okay.
So if you could hurry along, I mean, please find someone else.
Keep them rolling. Keep 'em rolling.
Yeah, for real.
Well,
I mean,
of course
he's
he
got a
says keep
cameraman.
rolling,
This absolute Chad right there, dude. That guy's my hero. He's like, keep it rolling. Get out of here, Matt Powell. Be gone, demon.
I cast
Powell
thee
got
out.
exercised.
You shall not pass.
Someone is asking how recent this is. This is from November 19th last year, so
Oh
just
no.
over a month and a half.
God, I legitimately felt like he was like on a campus in like the Middle Ages when Oxford was like first established, interviewing like the medieval peasantry.
What? Keep rolling. So actually, dude, you did amazing. I'm a Christian, bro. Well done. I'm a Christian.
It's like undercover
I was
bosses.
confused a little bit when I saw the cross necklace. You're like, by the way, the life came from Iraq. Went where? How does? I'd love to see how that lines up in Genesis 1-3.
Yeah. No, you did really well.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I post that?
I do not mind if you post that.
Okay, that was really good.
Some
What
other
we
people
do,
here might
actually,
mind
you
if
can look up my
post
channel.
that.
It's Matt Powell. I'll show you real quick. You're going to be debating me. This is crazy. The
Oh my
atheists are
god.
going to be so mad.
Oh, he's going for the recovery.
I'm okay with that.
I'm cringing too hard, man. This is like so painful.
See, folks, this
Yeah.
is why Grayson's camera is really off, because he knew we'd be watching Matt Powell, and he was worried that he would just implode from cringe. And he didn't want y'all to see.
I feel like I cringed so hard that my testicles like reascended. Like I undid puberty. Like I'm like, that's how hard I cringed into myself right now. That was awful.
By the
He's,
end
like,
of this
over here.
9-minute video, Grayson's going to be an infant
dude.
again. A
He's, like,
blastocyst.
He's
dude.
over their shoulders, like, yeah, it's just Matt with 2 T's, a Powell. Yeah, you're gonna be debating me, bro. I'm gonna put that you're stumped in all caps in the title, but like, it ain't even like that, bro. We're all Christians, homie. Like, it's just, oh my god, you're like 40. Stop.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I am so proud of you guys, man. Thank you so much. When I saw
You
Falcons
just
for Christ,
dropped,
I'm like,
I'm
oh,
so
man, this could
proud
be a
of
gold
you.
mine. And it was.
Now
Oh,
he's trying
wait.
to father them.
Well, wait, he just said where they were.
Oh, sorry. I'm just like, I think I was like dry heaving on top of that. Like, I'm just,
That's fine. He said Falcons for Christ.
oh no.
I thought that's what that shirt said.
That makes me so sad as you know, my middle name is Hawk. That makes me sad. Falcons for Christ. Like
just
we
trying to-
always had we didn't have a falcon, but we always had a hawk like growing up. You know, fun to go hunting with.
I'm
just-
pulling up a Faith Christian Academy in Plant City, Florida.
That seems way too cold and gray to be Florida.
You never know.
I don't know. The fauna did not look right, or flora rather.
Yeah, the logo doesn't match either.
I mean, there's probably a few places that are like Falcon something something something. Still, anyone knows where
All right,
they are.
guys, so we just got
Let us
done at
know.
the library here at Central Michigan University. And man,
Oh, there we go.
Wow, bro. I can't believe the comedic timing of that. Did you really not know that was coming?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god. All right. Well, thank you, Matt Powell, for that much.
Michigan.
it was quite an interesting experience. We talked to some people who believed in God, some who believed in evolution. We met some people who believed in creation as well. That was a real blessing. And so right now we're on our way over to the University Art Gallery and then the building over from it. Dinosaurs were discovered back in the 1800s, right? And so what we've discovered is these dinosaur engravings. Now, this is before they knew about
Oh,
dinosaurs.
does those look familiar, Grayson?
Yeah, there's the two-headed engravings.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I found the group. They weren't college students.
Oh, what? The tables, the plot thickens.
Yeah, they're a Facebook group that just formed in like September of last year, and their logo says Falcons for
Oh.
Christ for
Wow.
high school and middle school students.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
And
Wait,
and
wait,
the
wait,
logo matches
Wait, so
Michigan.
even one of them told Matt Powell to get lost and stop recording them?
Oh boy.
But you know, one of these underage children said it's okay to post this on YouTube, though. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh god. If I had anything left to like throw up after that, I would have right now.
Insert joke about pastors and consent.
Oh no.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it might be a different animal, or
I don't know.
check this out? Dinosaur surprise. Scientists find collagen inside of a 195-million-year-old bone.
For fuck's sake. Mary Leakey's gonna murder him someday.
I would think that it would have to be somewhat recent then. If the pattern is that the collagen isn't supposed to be there after this amount of time,
Dang.
then the only
Well-
logical explanation.
If this guy thinks that, then I mean, we have to listen. I mean, this guy's natural intuition is that collagen shouldn't last that long. Wow. I mean, if this guy said so.
For
Must
real.
be right.
Explanation is that it didn't get there that long ago.
Yeah, I think that's a solid answer. Maybe they lived a little bit more recently than we think.
Yeah.
We find a whale on a mountain.
Yes. Yes.
We're asking people, how did it get there?
On the mountain. Through seashores. Am I right?
We found one that's vertical.
Okay.
That died,
Yes.
and it's on its tail. We're asking.
No, Matt. The layers are tilted. You can see the layers are tilted.
I was just thinking he included the layers, the stratigraphy that shows that, for fuck's sake. Could this dude be
Yes.
more incompetent if he tried?
It's
No.
so low effort because he knows that his audience just quite frankly isn't knowledgeable enough to even know that they should care.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're asking people, how did that
Yeah.
happen?
Oh, what will connecting rock first? Oh, it's between the rocks. Maybe they made a hole or something between that.
It
That's
burrowed
all.
into the rocks?
Yes, because they are like huge. They can do that easily.
I don't know. Rapid placement of
Okay.
material on top of that. Like whatever had it like that, it had to have been.
I wonder what
Trapped
Matt's
fairly quickly.
alternative is. Because, like, if you say, okay, well, you explain it then, and Matt's going to be like, oh, well, you know, there was this flood, see? And
Blood did it. There's your explanation.
the other fish held it. There was a flood. Sure.
Blood did it.
Yeah, you gotta account for God magic.
It's true.
Yes. All the
It-
magic.
It was the bags of jelly.
I'm again thinking flooding of some sort.
We actually find a whale in the desert, and this one was found in Egypt. Wow.
Yeah, the Valley of the Whale is actually a really cool site.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
super cool.
that's the
I like-
thing that the
Isn't there just like a ridiculously high proportion of total like whale fossils that come from that valley?
Yeah, there's a ton. I could be wrong, but I think it's hypothesized to be some kind of nursery, but I could be wrong. But including fossils of my personal favorite fossil whale, Basilosaurus.
Hell
a lot
yeah.
of them too.
Sometimes
that-
I hear like Basilosaurus, but I think Basilosaurus sounds cool. I'm gonna try to remember to say it like that from now on.
Well,
It's how I've always said it.
coincidentally, is it from basil, like the plant, or basil, like not derived?
Probably like Saint
So-
Basil, right?
It's from the word bacillo, which means king or ruler.
Okay. I was thinking plot
which-
twist. It was found near basalt. Get wrecked.
Yeah, originally from the Greek name Vasilios. Also seen in Basaltica.
Oh. So they share an
Or
etymological.
Basilica.
Hmm.
And so they built a basilica for the Basilosaurus.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
looks like
The
that's
Basila
cool.
Basilica.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And a little fun history fact to distract us from the powling we're getting. Basilosaurus is so named because it was first thought to be a reptile. Then it was looked at closer and realized, no, this is a mammal. Then someone dropped the skull on the ground, it broke, and we found a diagnostic piece of the inner ear that's only found in Wales.
Yeah, I remember hearing about. Shoot, what the fuck was I listening? I listened to so many freaking shows.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've told you that before.
Probably it was recently in the last couple of days. Like we know the whales are all common ancestor because only the whales have that.
Yeah, it's called an involucrum. It's a so an involucrum is kind of a wrinkling of the bone, and whales have a very diagnostic involucrum in their inner ear. And it's found in things as basal as Pachycetus to things as derived as modern dolphins.
Fantastic. But this
Those are cool.
this particular valley, that's there's so many fantasy things with like the bones of dragons in the desert kind of shit that's based on this valley, is it not?
I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of the bones are still just kind of sitting out there because the desert erodes so slowly. They don't really have to worry about it eroding quickly, and they
And
can just let it sit.
just so lest it go unsaid, the reason why all these whale bones are out here in the desert is that desert used to be underwater, and that's not an issue or problem or contradiction at all, or really has anything to do with the theory of evolution.
Right. There used to be an ocean there called the Tethys Sea, and we have evidence of it existing for, I want to say, at least 40 million years minimum. It only started drying up after Africa started colliding with Europe. Which, if anyone's curious why there's still an ocean there, the leading edge of the impact is in the Alps.
Doc, you might want to look at the chat. You got somebody wiling in there. Connor McTeager.
That's in Ember's chat, not mine.
Oh, sorry, Ember. Yeah, in your chat. Sorry, I'm just looking in the StreamYard.
Well, he claims to be Jesus and Satan, and since neither of those exist, I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, the threat is very minimal. It's more so just like bizarre combinations of words that make me curious about how sentient the person on the other side of them is.
We're asking people, how did a whale get all the way to the desert? Only thing I could think of is like massive floods. A whale in the desert as well.
Walked far.
You're not major.
Yeah. Whale in the desert. Maybe whale lost his way. That's why somehow ended up in the desert.
He went for a little
Lost
trip.
his way.
Yeah.
Found itself in the desert.
Yeah.
And for a little
We're
walk in the
provided with
sand.
certain facts in school when we're learning, and then these are stuff that's contradicting the facts that we're provided with. So I'm not really sure what to include about that.
Sure. Do you think the Earth is millions of years old?
There's a library right there. You can see the books behind her.
Wait, so far she's been
we
like,
don't know what section she's in.
so far she's been like one of the only students that's been like seemingly engaged with the material at all to offer any kind of cogent response. So I'm like I'm like kind of curious right now what she's about to say. I mean, like, given her environment of where she is, she probably is a young Earth creationist, but like, it's just weird, right? Because she's like talking about how it's contradicting what they're learning, and I'm curious about what she's about to say.
Okay, let's see.
Old, or do you think maybe God created us recently? Where are you coming from?
I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory.
So you don't believe in the Big Bang, like everything came from an
Ask
explosion
and you shall
of
receive,
nothing?
Grayson.
You don't believe that an infinitely dense hot point exploded and created the universe?
Because the Earth is so huge, and the universe itself is so huge. So when you tell me that all of this was from a singularity, an explosion that was contained in a singularity, is like, it's kind of pointless.
Well, I mean,
Well, I
yeah,
regret all of
326 million.
I immediately regret all of this.
That's fair. That's fair. But you know, I can't understand how a person could believe like she does. Therefore, she just doesn't.
I honestly, though, she still, the way that she is the most articulate person that he's found so far, and the way that she has worded this does kind of impress me, because there's a certain amount of zen, like, to describing a singularity as pointless. You know, there's a certain sort of paradoxical koan kind of thing to consider there. Like, it's like literally a point.
It's poetic, isn't it? It's like,
So yeah, saying a singularity is pointless. I kind of like that. It's poetic.
yeah, it's almost a punchline. We should save that.
Yeah.
Billion trillion gallons of water exist on the Earth, and so to say that all of those gallons of water
Yeah.
were condensed
Doing the
that
freaking
small,
water thing.
it doesn't make sense, does it?
It does not.
There wasn't
Even if you just do carbon.
oxygen to make the H2O with until we got to pop 2 stars. The first stars were hydrogen and helium. Ah! I want to pull my hair out, but I spent too long growing it.
Wait, sorry,
Well,
Ember.
Ember,
What?
that's just what you think from your evolutionary biases.
Sorry,
I know.
Ember. Which water thing was he doing? The water can't be compressed thing?
Yeah,
or was he
the
doing
water
the,
can't
can
fit
water
in the
form a star?
singularity.
What-
It
I
was
didn't hear that. Sorry.
water can't compress to fit in the singularity.
The incompressibility of water argument that you just like, all of these he just is taking directly from Ken Hovind. I mean, sometimes Kent even mixes it around and says milk instead of water. But like Matt Powell doesn't even have the creative ingenuity to do even that much. Like,
well, you know, Grayson, they say that the galaxy is full of stars, but we call it the Milky Way. Therefore, it's made of milk, and you think you came from a strawberry, so you're a strawberry dipped in milk. See how crazy evolution is? Okay, buy my DVDs.
I love the incompressibility of water argument, because it's like, I want to know what they think happens if you try to keep applying more and more and more force to try to compress water. Like, does it just overcome like any amount of force? Like the water just like any amount of water, just you can overcome any amount of compressibility, like even the entire like weight of the Earth or something. Or like, if you
That's
ask
right,
them,
water on a neutron star, you can still swim in it because it's water, can't compress it. It's
Okay,
immune
then I
to
would just
black
ask him,
holes. It's
if God were to compress the water, what would happen to it? And then maybe they could conceive of that enough to think, hey, wait a minute, maybe the atoms themselves would compress and lose electrons and become, like plasma, and that would continue to compress, and then the nuclei themselves would start to break down into quarks and gluons, and your plasma gets denser and denser and denser until you start breaking down and compressing these fundamental particles beyond the limits of physics. I don't know, maybe they could comprehend all of that if God was the one doing it, and then they would stop asking this really stupid, asinine question.
Nah, it just stays water.
Right, okay.
Carbon dating can prove that the Earth is much older than 6,000 years old.
Okay, so carbon dating. We know it goes up to 50,000 years, right?
Yeah.
We find carbon inside of
Matt
dinosaur
Powell said
bones.
something vaguely
Now remember, it only lasts 50,000.
You were about to say he said something correct, didn't you?
Vaguely correct.
Points to Gryffindor.
We have I don't even have a drink handy, and we have to drink. Coffee will have to do.
I've got water.
Like the kid, we can carbon date the. Okay, he meant radioactive dating, but he said carbon dating, and Matt Powell's. It's only good for a certain period of time. We can't date the whole Earth with that. We can prove the Earth is older than 6,000 years, but.
Yep.
3,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
If we're finding carbon inside of dinosaur bones, is it plausible to suggest the dinosaurs died out millions of years ago? So carbon dating is actually a friend to creationism and not Darwinian evolution. Do you have any response to that?
Not really. So if you think the Earth is 6,000 years old, what's your response to like Venus, Mercury, Jupiter?
What?
Jupiter is actually warm on the inside. Could it have stayed warm if I put a cup of coffee on the table, right? And steam is coming off of it? Is it reasonable to assume that cup of coffee is millions of years old? The rings around Saturn are moving away from the planet. And so it means that Saturn is young.
Okay, the drink thing is undone. The rings of Saturn are very slowly crashing into the planet, but details.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a, like, I mean, he got it exactly opposite. I mean, that's kind of a big detail. I mean, I guess they're disappearing either way, but
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Young, but it was created recently.
7 billion people, I think it's nearly 8 billion people came from 2 people. I mean, that's gotta.
Yeah, but
Here, wait, what's that in the background? Enchanting Collection. Oh, it's a memorial library. Okay. I was curious what that was.
Evolution asserts that 8 billion
A
people descended
children's
from a
library.
rock.
Also, how do you claim that consciousness came from a creator and not from some adaptation that we obtained through evolution?
Unconscious dead material is not going to produce conscious living organisms.
How do you explain Adam and Eve? I mean, with the Habsburgs, you can see like inbreeding.
Inbreeding, yes, it would have been an issue had there been a lot of mutations. What causes inbreeding to be an issue? A lot of deleterious mutations building up. At the creation, there was no deleterious.
No, inbreeding is usually an issue because it causes a buildup of recessive alleles, which are generally recessive for a reason.
That's why they're yeah. However, point of order, we make living things out of non-living things right now. We're all doing it. We're breathing in non-living oxygen and popping off those little molecules and running them through our metabolisms and building up our cells and replacing damaged proteins and all sorts of things. We're turning non-living matter into our own living bodies all the time.
I mean, you ever drink water?
I know. I know that nobody likes it when I do this, but to give Matt Powell here, like I can understand what his argument is, Doc, in terms of he's saying that like the initial alleles that Adam and Eve have would not have been deleterious initially when they were created. So like even like though through inbreeding you would have increased homozygosity, the recessive alleles from that were there initially wouldn't result in the negative phenotypic like deleterious fitness effects of a normal like very homozygous inbred individual. That's the argument at least that Matt Powell is making here, because he's saying that the actual deleterious mutations would build up generation by generation like following Adam and Eve.
Okay.
That's at least like the most generous reading. So sorry, I have a bad habit of playing devil's advocate.
No, it's fair. As I often say, if you can't argue both sides of a debate, you don't really understand the argument. But I'd go a step further, and since we're playing with God magic anyway, I'd just say there weren't even DNA. Something else was behind it. DNA didn't show up until after the flood, and that way we can control the number of mutations and yada yada.
Exactly. Like the whole like created heterozygosity rescue device that they come up with is like there's no basis in the Bible to believe any of this. There's no supporting empirical evidence for any of this. It's just like, how can I create some kind of like story to force the biblical narrative from thousands of years ago to try to fit in with what we've found out about modern genetics and inheritance. And the thing is, though, is that it only peppers over that glaring patch of contradiction if you don't really look into it that closely. Like for somebody that's just shallow enough to not really go much further than like say like a Standing for Truth channel level of it, then you might be able to tell yourself and sleep at night saying, oh yeah, you know, created heterozygosity, that solves it all. But then when you actually go into it and you're saying, well, how many alleles would it actually take for, like, what would Adam and Eve's genome actually have to look like for it, like for the modern genomes that we have now to look like they do now? And it like all falls apart. They'd have to have thousands of different recessive alleles all vying like that. Like their biochemistry would have just been such a tangled mess. And even if you say, oh, well, you know, God magic, he's a perfect engineer, he can do everything and figure it out. The fact that he engineered it in such a way to leave no empirical trace of any of that biochemistry having ever existed previously in some sort of pure state, like he perfectly covered up all of his tracks biochemically, that's like a trickster god, and that becomes, you know, hugely problematic
Now,
theologically.
alternatively, Grayson, and hear me out on this. Maybe Matt's just full of it.
That is, you know, I am no expert of like Bayesian reasoning, but that strikes me as a little bit more plausible.
Oh, and Ember, you have a super chat.
Yay! My unfinished journey, $6.66. The best number. Thank you so much. And says, hail Nero, hail Ember, Doc, and Grayson. And hail kids smart enough to tell Matt Powell to go jump in a lake.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
Nero,
hey, if this is the school we were looking at, there's a river right next to it.
Nero gets a bad rap, honestly. Like, you know, I mean, he's not like the best emperor ever, but he definitely is not one of the worst. He gets a bad rap in the history books, if you ask me. He actually, you know, he's a patron of the arts.
It's true. I understand he was like good for the economy or something. Like there was a lot of construction after he was done.
Yeah, I mean, he was like a patron of like for like economic prosperity for the common man. He did things that people really liked. Like he's sort of like a populist, appealing to them. He was just an enemy of the senatorial class who ultimately bred the historians that left the records. So this was like the same with other emperors like Domitian or whatever. You piss off the historians, you won't be remembered fondly in the history books. Funny how that works.
Weird, right?
I want to set the world on fire.
Deleterious mutations. And that's why it's plausible to suggest we descended from two people, because they had less mutations. As you add onto the population, you get more mutations. If evolution is true, the first single-celled organism that came alive would have reproduced worse versions of itself, and it would have died out from mutations.
Okay, sorry, just listening to the music in the background there, that sounds like a ripoff of some music from an anime.
Doc, like first pointing out the sign in the background and now the music, it's like your body has gone into like defense mode, being exposed to this much Matt Powell, where you're just like looking for anything else to pay attention to other than what Matt Powell is saying.
Well, you know, instead of Matt Powell, how about this?
Oh, even better. Is that Carl Buzz tracks again?
That's the track he loves to show, but it is not him presenting it this time.
Oh, good.
So, this time we are going to talk about a new creationist organization, at least for my channel, I think, Genesis Apologetics. They're not as infamous as Answers in Genesis, but I would argue they're worse when it comes to the skits in their videos, because they love to do skits.
I know I've seen them at least. I may be confusing them with Bible Genesis Acad or fucking. There's so many similar names. But I'm pretty sure I've seen them before.
I don't think I'm familiar with this channel. Maybe I've seen the videos, but I don't remember the channel itself. But 200,000 subscribers. God, that makes me feel just all types of things.
Well,
I
you're
know
not
they've
far
been
off.
covered. Well, I know they've been
Just a
covered
couple hundred.
before. Well, they've been covered by Forrest Valkai and Aaron Ra did a couple episodes on some of their stuff. But I haven't seen
Oh yeah,
anyone cover this video.
the Jane and the
John and
guy.
Jane.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep. So same creators, different people in this one though. And it sounds like it's part of a series, but I've only found the one video. So yeah, let's have fun with this one.
Woohoo!
Hey,
Hey, Jake. Thanks
Brad.
for meeting with me again.
good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Hey, what you drinking?
Cold brew. How about yourself?
Chai tea latte. Yeah.
Perfect.
Wait, pause.
They're better
So a
actors
EP
than
lot-
John and Jane.
Is that? I'm sorry, but didn't we see in the last video another like white guy in his 30s with a beanie on, like with the same kind of brown hair? Is this the same guy, or am I just imagining things? Like I swear we saw a beanie guy before.
I think you're imagining things, but I'm not sure.
If I am, then there's just like there's this exact archetype of a guy in each one of these. Like he's just an extra in all of these various creationist channels. Like this kind of guy just kind of manifests and is just available for this kind of material.
Christian camp counselor with a guitar.
Hey, you remember our talk last week about the flood and fossil remains and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Like, kind of obsessed over it.
Did you now?
Yeah. So I kind of tore into every resource I could find from creationist and secular sources. I found dozens. Found some crazy, interesting stuff. Want to see it?
Sounds awesome. Are you
Yeah,
going
pause.
to run it by
Pause
our
it.
favorite site?
Okay, don't hate me for this, but why does this other guy like just to me he's coming across like the love child of like Boris Johnson and Ellen DeGeneres.
Not what I was picking up, but now that you mention it,
I don't know
Guys,
why.
I was gonna say I can't tell if he's like 18 or 30.
He's very
I was
cherubic.
just trying to figure out which one was making googly eyes at the other harder.
Is that Matt Powell in the background right now?
I was thinking that they were filming it at the
Like
same time.
eavesdropping? Yeah, he's eavesdropping on this conversation because it's like not on his channel. Like this is where he has to get his arguments once Kent Hovind kicked him out of Dinosaur Adventureland. He has to get his arguments from just like trying to eavesdrop them from the background of other creationist channels.
From anyone else. Anyone else.
Professor?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how was he when it came to creation evidence? You know, when you challenged him?
He had an evolutionary answer for everything. It kind of shook me for a while.
Yeah.
That was until I remembered what I was talking to you about last week. That is sola scriptura.
I'm sorry, remind me of that again.
Scripture alone. Basically, God's word has checked out so.
Yep.
So I
This
was
is
thrown.
overwhelming, but
I was thrown by all the facts and evidence and shit that I can look into for myself. But then I remembered, oh, right, we believe only the Bible ever.
Yep.
You literally cannot get through to some people.
I know. But the Bible, though.
The Bible. Fortunately,
so many
we have our handy dandy hardback ready to go. Thanks to Robin Webster.
times and in so many ways, it always comes up true. We need to let that be our authority.
Oh, no, I get it. Yeah. So don't put physical evidence that we find about the flood or other topics above what God shows us in authority with his scripture, right?
Yeah. Otherwise,
ignore the physical evidence, whatever it might be.
And what drives me really crazy about it is early Christians didn't have this. This was compiled in like the 3rd or 4th century. The first Christians had just the stories. So Christians saying, "Oh, book," you're not doing it like they didn't have that. What are you doing?
Look, Ember, we have the Bible now, and the Bible tells us how to handle these pesky little things called facts. it tells us that our faith is going to be tested by various kinds of demons of all different sorts. Okay, so like these facts are just one more variety of demons sent by Satan to test our faith. We can't let these things like facts or objective reality stir our faith in this book from the Iron Age. I mean, be reasonable here.
Right. I forgot. It's all the reality, the verifiable objective reality. Well, Descartes warned us about that. It's just a demon trying to trick us. We're actually, brains in jars or something. Yeah.
Descartes was probably a demon too, to be honest.
That's fair.
That's true. That's true.
Otherwise, we could end up endlessly running down rabbit holes, placing whatever we find above scripture. Or if the so-called evidence turns out to not be true, that could really shake our faith.
No, yeah, I got you. But there's no way Bradley can answer this, okay? The evidence is too good. So for starters, right? Did you know that dozens and dozens of human footprints have been found alongside dinosaur footprints? Or even in dinosaur layers? It's all over the world.
Yeah, but it's been a while since I've looked into them.
Well, hey, check this out. So, check out these human prints at the Paluxy River in Texas.
Paluxy!
No. Oh boy. Okay.
Where the hell's Bree? Bree's in like travel range for this thing now.
I mean, I spent most of my childhood, like I think just a couple hours from here, so I don't have an excuse to not have gone at this point.
You should. Well, Carl Baugh is still
I've
semi-alive.
I've driven past it at least twice before, and I just didn't want to pay the entry fee. Is why I didn't stop.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
every time I want to think about going to a place like this, I always am like, I just really don't want to patronize like any of these people.
I mean, you can check out the footprints for free. I think it's a state park, if not a national park. Like you can just go and see the tracks. It's if you want to go into the museum, you gotta pay.
Which, like, if I'm gonna go there already, like, I do want to go into the museum. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
What if you offer to do a YouTube video?
Free promotion.
I mean, that's what that guy from Connecticut did. He was we're going to partner with you and do a series.
It would be promotion of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to define kind if the creationists don't have to define kind.
That's a valid point. But in fact, you actually have a CV to this effect. You can be like, I did it for Dinosaur Adventureland.
You have a super chat from Jester.
Jester, former retired Lord of Shenaniganery. I can say words, I promise. I'm not as drunk as Chris. We're good. Jester, $2. Thank you so much. Jester says, no, I'm pretty sure Descartes was a cart or a Renee. One of those.
The Cartesians are an actual like sci-fi race of cart people.
Oh. So like Mario Karts, but sentient?
Whatever you want.
Well, at any rate, so sorry, God. The Paluxy tracks here.
Paluxy!
All dinosaurs. They're all dinosaurs. Some of the dinosaurs that ran across the surface, which was a mud tidal flat, had really long metatarsals, which are, the things that connect to your toes. And sometimes you can see in the trackway, they would slip in the mud, drag in those metatarsals, and cause what looks like a human footprint. And you can tell because if you follow the trackway, they return to being normal dinosaur tracks. Also, another super chat.
My unfinished sock, who seemingly follows my unfinished journey around a little ways behind for some reason. I can't imagine. My unfinished sock for $2. Thank you so much. Says, don't run a Young Earth Creation grift. Like and share the stream. Because the stream is cooler than the Creationist River. Or so, I'm
For
just
100
going
years,
with-
they've been digging up dinosaur tracks in the riverbed right next to human footprints.
Whoa.
Oh, here's the Taylor tracks, where they found 14 human prints.
Taylor tracks.
That man has some heavy boots.
Yeah, you know that they're human footprints because you can see a human in the picture.
That's right. That's how that works, right? And I mean, the human has some weird shaped feet, but I mean, there's a
Don't we
human right
all?
there. So
Don't judge, Ember. Don't we all?
So one, this is apparently also along Paluxy River. It's just a different site from the famous one.
Okay.
With that said, also dinosaur tracks. According to the National Center for Science Education. Oh wait, is this a creationist thing or is this a?
Say the name
I'm
one
not
more
sure.
time.
National Center for Science Education.
Hmm.
Sounds official, but
Well, the atheists for liberty sound like they're for liberty. You can't trust names, especially when there's scammers involved.
I don't know. I mean, next thing you're gonna tell me, the Democratic Republic of North Korea did not invent basketball and beat Kobe Bryant with their chairman.
So mixed results. Some things are telling me that it's a not-for-profit membership organization in the United States whose stated mission is to educate the press and the public on scientific and educational yada yada yada. But other related things that are popping up are the Discovery Institute, the Institute for Creation Research, the Texas Freedom Network. So it appears to be connected with the nonsense, if it isn't expressly that. Oh, okay, here we go. Based in Oakland, California, it claims 4,500 members that include scientists, teachers, clergy, and citizens of various religions.
The center has been called the leading anti-creationist organization in the United States, apparently. So,
well, now I'm confused again. Are they like polar? Are they the Anti-Discovery Institute?
I don't really know how effective they could be if, like, I don't know, like, in what way are they effectively countering creationists?
Okay, I found their Facebook page. It's very slowly loading. Let's see. About. It gives
Okay.
gives
No,
me a bunch
they've
of
actually
links.
monetarily assisted the plaintiffs in the Kitzmiller versus Dover case, which is like pretty cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently, Origins has an article about this whole thing with a map, too. So.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
Yep, a lot of tracks sinking into the mud that was there. Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, they're fighting climate change.
But I just don't know, like, it seems like they sort of shifted focus in recent years because, like, it's like all I'm seeing for like the year 2008 is like they launched a website to debunk that Ben Stein like documentary about like intelligent design in classrooms or something, and then like it's like, what are they actually doing on like a year to year? Like they don't seem to have much of like a public outreach, or at least not that I've seen making any waves in any of the spaces that I like. I mean, I keep up with some of these institutions, these creationist institutions, and who's debunking them. It's like maybe they're silently funding some of the people that I see, like, but it doesn't seem like I mean, where's their public outreach?
Yeah, they're not super public. They do have a few groups and whatnot, but it looks like the majority of their efforts is getting accurate climate and evolution based material to teachers, particularly in the South.
Well, that is God's work
for sure.
So maybe it's not like in terms of like like communication to like broader
Ooh.
audiences, like in the public discourse, but they're doing like like very, very important work in terms of public education
Now
outreach.
I'm sure. Michael Shermer is on describes their website as one of the 2 best resources on the internet on the evolution creation topic, the other being Talk Origins. And apparently they keep a list of an updated listing of creationist and anti-evolution organizations. So they're also doing some watchdog work.
Okay, can we find like a link? That'd be awesome to check out.
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
handy.
like it sounds like they need help. I mean, spreading the word out there if they're doing all this good work. So at the least thing I could do to familiarize myself and help share it.
Yeah, where the fuck is this website?
They really do need to hire somebody or something that can like help them market even a little bit. I mean, like if they're doing all this good work.
Well, here, I'll send a link to the private chat. But also, I just wanted to share a cool piece of dinosaur art that I found while I was looking for information on them.
Okay. I mean, that is cool.
Yeah, I like dinosaurs.
I'm gonna put the linky link in my chat anyway, and I uncritically have not even looked at the website yet, so view at your own risk.
Was that a Carnotaurus?
Looks like some kind of Allosauroid.
With like the horns like that?
Yeah, Allosaurs have horns.
But like that prominent.
Some of them, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know what dinosaur this is supposed to be in particular.
Resources.
It's supposedly an Allosaurus.
I guess I just never think about Big L having big old horns like that.
Well, he definitely has horns. They're actually really prominent on Big Al too.
Al Trucker literally joined Ember's chat like right when we were talking about Big Al the Allosaurus. That's crazy.
You summoned Al.
Well, there's Big Al 2 there, and you can see just how big those horns are. And then here's Big Al himself, and yeah, big horns. You got
Fair
them
enough. It's like a brow ridge.
Yeah, I always thought of it as a brow ridge. I've never like looked at it like they were horns.
Well, crests, horns, what's really the difference?
That's a big difference to me. I don't know. Like the whoa, yeah, there you go.
He seems very angry. The angriest skeleton.
No, yeah, I've this one has put me in my place. I'll shut up.
Oh yeah, there's some gnarly reconstructions of the face. It's just
Do you suppose that might be like everybody says that the dinosaurs are inspiration for dragons. Could this be an inspiration for biblically accurate angels? They looked at the skull and they went, what a horrible monster. It must have had so many frickin' eyes.
I could not tell you. I could not tell you.
I feel like some sort of mental episode, potentially drug induced, is just as likely of an explanation for all the eyes.
¿Por qué no los dos?
It's all those burning
God.
bushes.
No, don't combine those two things. Those
prints right next to dinosaur prints.
These are cool. But didn't several creation scientists classify these human prints as just eroded dinosaur prints?
Well, yeah, but it sure looks like they have heels and toes and a lot.
Well, yeah. Also, I just saw that image. That is from the Taylor tracks.
It looks like a maple leaf.
Yeah, it looks like a maple leaf. No, it's just an eroded dinosaur track. I'm sorry if that seems weird to you, but tracks erode weird.
I mean, have you
Especially
ever
when they're
seen a
really
human footprint that looks like that? Ever?
Not exactly.
No. people they go, oh, it's vaguely human foot shaped, and it never occurs to them that when they get out of the frickin' shower and they make footprints on the floor and on the bath mat, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say like vaguely foot shaped. Like this is like too perfectly reminiscent of a foot shape to actually be one. Like no, you're like no
So-
actual footprint looks like that. Wait, it just changed right now. I was just
Yeah,
looking at
so
it. I was trying to point stuff out about it.
well, I brought up another image of it.
Okay, well, I mean it's your show. I was trying to point out like how like perfectly
Yeah, the edge is
rounded
so
that is.
sharp, and it's so
almost identical.
perfectly flat, even
And
though
it
the
intersects
material.
at like almost 90 degrees angles with like almost perfect like circles. Like it just is like it does not look like an actual footprint would.
Yeah, Victoria says it's got Shroud of Turin vibe, and feeling
And
that.
So, funny enough, this image is from AIG, or the Institute for Creation Research. I guess I did an article on this, but it looks like the tracks have substantially eroded in recent decades, producing a more
wait.
human-like shape than originally.
So wait, the claim is that these are the same as the previous image, like but with over more time, or like because the previous image looked completely different.
So wait,
This one could be doctored too. I'm
you're
not
telling
sure.
me
that looks like it's been like highlighted basically in the shape of a foot, like an all too perfect shape. Like they've like brought out like certain highlights. Like if the other image of it is the same location, like that's crazy.
I mean, it looks like the same track to me, but I could
Wait, what
be
is it
wrong.
labeled? HT plus 3R. What's the other one?
HT plus 3R.
Oh, there's
minus
HT
3D.
Oh, no, I see what you're saying. No, it has been highlighted. Like that, that
like-
outline isn't actually there. Those
Yeah,
are
it doesn't
outlines that have been
over
drawn
the
on.
rock.
Yeah, that's like so dishonest. Yeah, that's definitely
boy.
like they sketched out the perfect idealized shape of a human foot and superimposed it on top to trick your eye into making it look more like an actual foot.
Yep, looks like it.
We caught him at the Photoshop.
A lot of these. Check out these human prints stepping in dinosaur prints. I mean, look, it looks clearly
Hey,
human.
there's the same one.
They are very human-like.
Yeah, one of them even looks like a human print with toes over the edge of a dinosaur print. Some of them even show dinosaurs stepping in human prints after the human print was made, or even coming in sideways. See?
Hey, there's that one. The fakest damn track I've ever seen.
Yay! With the freaking big toe hole, the dude is like the deepest big toe ever.
Just
built in
drilled his toe into the mud.
Wow.
Wow. Are there others?
Let's see. No, I have them in here somewhere. Yeah, there's the Riles track, the Morris track, and the Willett print, excavated from a limestone ledge near Dinosaur Valley State Park.
Well, those are just proof of Bigfoot, though.
That looks grinded in as hell.
I just can't get over the entire concept of this video. It's just like, well, if Beavis and Butthead sitting around some random cafe looking at like Google images on their laptop, if they both think that they look like human feet and dinosaur tracks to them, well, you got to trust those two. I mean, why would we go and do any kind of further analysis from anybody that like has any background experience looking at trace fossils?
Notice
Or
the
a
ruler, which, first of all, notably not a rock hammer, but second, it says creation evidence on it.
Oh, yeah, Creation Evidence Museum.
That's just a coincidence.
Oh, boy.
Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Behind the footprint?
Yep, there's the very famous Delk print that shows a human-like footprint intruded by a tridactyl dinosaur print. Pretty interesting stuff here. CT scans show both tracks were made before the mud hardened.
Does it though? So for anybody who Doc and I covered this many months ago, and we've had a lot of new people on both channels, so we probably should briefly redo this again. I
Sure.
know it's going to be a really hard thing for some people to grasp, but it's not what they're presenting it as. Half
No.
of these aren't even fucking real.
Yeah,
To be
this
honest,
one is super fake.
I'm just kind of shocked and impressed that beanie guy over there knows the word tridactyl.
Fair.
Yeah, that stood out to me too. Like, oh yeah, that was in the script, buddy. Good job.
Yeah.
Makes it really hard to fake.
So is it just in Texas where they found these tracks?
Oh, no, not even. Here. They're found in several places. Here, there's a Zapata track in Permian limestone in New Mexico. Dates back to over...
Zapato track. That means shoe track.
I'm sorry, did he just say the Mexico? Is that what I heard? Or did he say in the Mexico? Can we go back like just a couple seconds? I just need to like, am I taking crazy pills?
Here, there's a Zapata track in Permian limestone in New Mexico. Dates back to over...
Okay, no, it's New Mexico.
New Mexico. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
See, there's Mexico, and then there's the Mexico. It's where only the most privileged tourists get to visit. It's where they keep the best ruins.
That's where all the best footprints with dinosaurs are.
Yeah, and that does
Clearly,
not look like a footprint to me, like a real footprint.
Well,
Also,
clearly, you've never been to Chichen Itza.
well, I'm just trying to figure out what kind of rock it is. 'Cause I could have sworn I heard about this before, and it's supposed to be basalt.
It doesn't look like sandstone, does it? Where the hell is Michael Beverly, our resident expat in Mexico? He could. Well, this is from New Mexico anyway, so whatever.
Also, apparently, was not found in situ, meaning it was not found in place. It was on a rock in a field. So,
sure. Love it.
Okay.
Still
Totally
over 250
authentic,
million years, and of course that's using conventional dating. But get this, Smithsonian Magazine even said that these tracks were a mystery, calling them problematic. Not only because they look human, because they were right next to the...
I mean,
Smithsonian, Zapata.
they are problematic because maybe it's just me, but they look fake as fuck. Like, if you've ever walked in mud, that's also not what footprints look like.
Yeah, no, it's really not.
Yeah, John beat me to it. You can't even make perfect impressions like that by walking or standing in clay or mud. Like, actual human feet do not do that.
The tracks that were massive looked like mammals and birds that supposedly hadn't evolved yet. Get this.
I'm not seeing
Evolutionists
anything about
haven't even tried to debate the authenticity of these yet, or the human-like appearance of this one.
Yeah,
Convincing.
why would they?
What about the footprints supposedly made by our alleged human ancestors?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Laetoli footprints, supposedly made by Lucy, huh?
That sounds familiar. Weren't they a long way from her?
Yep. Yeah, about 1,000 miles away from where Lucy was discovered. But these are obviously human. They didn't even find Lucy's feet with her fossil, but they say kind made these prints 1,000 miles away.
Stop it, dog.
Because we know
said that
Lucy
her
was the
kind
only
made them.
Australopith ever.
No, he did just say that her kind made.
No.
Oh, we get a kind now.
I heard these were made by Lucy, but she was found so far away.
Blondie said
now
they were
we
made
know
by
why she doesn't
Lucy,
have her
and then
feet.
Beanie-
Kill me.
Beanie corrected him that her kind made them.
Yeah. She lost her feet. They walked off.
Oh boy.
They went for a
Here,
trip
check this out.
all on their own.
Some of these prints are even 10 inches long. That's the size of a 9.5 shoe. How could a...
Yes. So Lucy is very small. Lucy is actually surprisingly small even for Australopithecus. Just speaking broadly, the males of the species were substantially larger. with much larger feet too. Let me see if I can find.
Why? I
Oh,
just
that
don't
never
understand.
happens.
Like maybe this is kind of an argument against naming fossils like Sue or Samantha or Lucy because like the amount of brain rot caused to creationists just I feel like it's just due to the name Lucy or something. Like they cannot conceive of any other individual Australopiths other than Lucy. Like every time anybody mentions Australopithecus, there's just a blank stare of unrecognition, and you go, Lucy. Oh, okay, the missing link, Lucy. And like they just like everything is just like goes down to like an individual person in their mind. I don't know if they're like primed to have that kind of brain rot, like because of like Adam and Eve being the origin, that they're just like, it's got to be an individual, Lucy. Like, but like they can't think in terms of populations.
I mean, that's kind of true with people today too. Like, you know, if you're a Christian, there is one Christian. You know, everything is like prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
but
wild.
yeah, here you can see here male Australopithecus were much larger than females, including with bigger feet. So,
but if they had small feet, so fucking what?
Well, they're saying the tracks here are 10 inches long, and like, yeah,
which it just blows my mind that they're presenting information that debunks their own bullshit, and they don't even realize that they've undermined themselves. They're like, here, look at these tracks that are verified to be, you know, 1 to 3 million years old, whatever the hell it is, and these are so eroded. And then here's these tracks that we're claiming are 65 million years old, and they're like pristine. Could
right next to super eroded dinosaur tracks in the same rock layer.
Yeah, in a river. Fuck's sake.
In a river.
Yeah, left-handed Jedi. Thank you. I see.
Oh, yep, I see it.
Yeah, $2. Thank you so much. It says, "Welcome to the FAF Museum. Nothing fake here." That's the sign behind the kids. Is like friendship and fellowship or something like that. We'll see it in a minute. But yeah, thank you.
What ape's supposed to make those, huh?
Yep, sounds like a stretch. These prints don't even look anything like ape prints.
Nope. Check this out.
Bruh.
Why? It's like that's what real old human
chimpanzee?
footprints look like. Oh my goodness.
They look like Australopithecus footprints. Also, these tracks have been analyzed extensively.
Yeah,
it's
like,
almost like it's something in between these two.
They're really
Closer
like
to human.
they're trying to make the argument right now. The silly scientists come out with these biomechanical studies showing that it fits an Australopith footprint, but it doesn't look anything like a chimpanzee foot, does it? It's like, huh? What kind of non sequitur bullshit is that?
Well, you know, we had Sherlock Holmes, this ghost, take a look at these, and he determined that it was a 35-year-old individual wearing size 12 flippers. Or something.
Well, if you actually look, the mud that's on Gary's foot right now matches. So it was a Gary over there.
Jedi says that it was meant to mean fake as fuck. It's just a coincidence that the sign behind the kid has an FAF thing on it.
Just a big coincidence, I'm
That's
sure.
it. That's how it always works. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Check
no
this out.
creepy Carl today.
Yeah. About 20 years ago, they found these human-looking prints in Miocene rocks that evolutionists date to about 5.7 million years. It's on the island of Crete. These prints put humans on the scene millions of years before they even supposedly evolved. The researchers said the tracks are human-like because
these actors are losing quality points every time they open their mouths. My goodness. Evolutionists don't date rocks. That's a geologist's job, but whatever. Just the supposedly
all together. Supposedly.
Yes.
So the footprints they're talking about on the island of Crete are a bipedal hominid, which is really cool, especially I forget what the date, like the age estimate for them is. Crete hominid track.
I think it's between what, like 2 and 3 point something million years. I don't remember. Maybe
About
3
6 million.
6 million, you said?
6 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, they are the Trachelos prints.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Laetoli footprints.
Oh no, these are the footprints they're talking about in Crete. The Laetoli tracks, Laetoli footprints. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, come on. 3.7 million.
That's exactly what I was. Okay, that's more in line with what I was thinking. Sorry, I got my wires crossed there. I thought we were talking about Laetoli still.
Nah, it's okay. But they are interesting, I will say, at the very least. Like they're older than any species of Australopithecus, so maybe maybe the first human ancestor with a more human foot lived farther north than we expect. It's interesting.
If you're saying it was 6 million years ago, that kind of suits. I don't know. That's like really interesting. Yeah, that's super early on. Like, I think it's even before like Ororine or Sahelanthropus or
It's in the time period of Auroran Tugenensis.
like antediluvian Turkei. You know that one that was from 2023.
Right. How do we have a foot for Auroran?
I don't know. There's really not much material. I thought there's like some like jaw fragments and things.
Yeah, Auroran's pretty fragmentary. Never mind. I was just curious because we have a weirdly high amount of material from Ardipithecus, which is younger than the Greek trackway, but has a more chimp-like foot. Interesting.
Because they lacked claws, were bipedal, plantigrade, pentadactyl, and strongly intexonic.
Man, you should take a deep dive into this. It would take me a while to investigate all this stuff. But you know, Bible-believing Christians wouldn't be surprised if these turned out to be true. Because we know that all creatures were formed at God's command just thousands of years ago.
Well, yeah, I get that.
Because you have God
this
magic.
evidence sounds.
You've got God magic, so
It's
solves
true.
everything.
True. So, friendly reminder, the vast majority of people who believe in evolution and science and other things that you can verify are Christian.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have to reject a faith if you have one to accept the evidence we have for evolution or the ancient age of an earth. They're not completely incompatible unless you insist on being a literalist about everything in the book.
Yeah,
At least in regards to the Bible.
But Doc, I raise you this comment I just received 12 minutes ago on my YouTube channel from @BeanForChrist53, who says Earth is flat.
Well, you got me there.
Yeah, we got to give it up, folks. We're all pack it in. Let's all sign up at AIG.
For the top convincing, you know? Well, getting back to human and dinosaur prints, check this out, okay? Just a year ago, a team documented some human-looking tracks that intersect right through dinosaur tracks. It's at the Calorco site in Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Not ringing any bells
You
for
said
me.
Calorco? Let's see. So,
Yo, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. A new hardcore history episode dropped. Sorry, guys, I just got excited by
Okay.
that. Those episodes only come out like once every 6 months. You know what I mean?
so
Okay.
I'm seeing information about this cliff that they're talking about, but it's all dinosaurs as far as I can tell. But you do have a layer of rock that is tilted pretty high upwards with a ton of dinosaurs on it, which happens. And it's pretty cool when it does happen. Rocks move, believe it or not, and sometimes they can move quite a bit.
I've heard that rumor. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So what I was getting at is that we don't actually have a vested interests. There's no emotional attachment to the age of the Earth. We don't. If it were 6,000 years, fucking great. But we want to know what's true.
Mm-hmm.
Just demonstrate your thing is true and stop being a little bitch about it. Oh, well, my book says though. Just why do you have such a problem with truth, creationists? Why?
I've been lately thinking about as a sort of slightly different tack to approaching questioning creationists instead of asking them like, why do you believe the things that you believe in a more vague way, or why do you believe in God, or why do you believe this? Just like, why do you believe why do you believe that the things in the Bible are true? Like, establish that much. Like, and just trying to focus on that as a line of questioning. I don't know, probably still ultimately a fool's errand, but I'm curious about what kinds of dialogue trees it opens up.
It'd be
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean that's the main thing I care about. Like, I don't even really care so much what you believe as why. If you can give me a good why, then I'll care about the what, because I'm interested in what's true.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, that's primarily like as someone that was never raised religiously at all, I never had any religious belief. So my reason for being an atheist, or my reason for not believing in any of these humans and dinosaurs coexisting, or any of these creationist claims that they have, is because they don't have any even approachingly convincing argument about why I should believe any of the things they're telling me. Like, just I mean, I've always had a little bit of an issue with authority about, like, if somebody tells me to do something or tells me to believe something, it's not good enough for them just to be an authority figure for me to just go ahead and do it. I need to know why they're telling me. Why is it a good idea for me to do or believe what they're saying? What's their reason? What's their rationale? What's their evidence?
Sure. Hey, Grayson, don't step on that cactus. But why not?
Well, I would really quickly be given a very good reason why.
See, my problem was I'd usually get, because I said so, that's why.
Yeah, well, that was never enough to satisfy young Grayson.
I wonder.
I would have stepped on the cactus, and then I would have learned
For science.
For credit.
Yeah, for science, exactly. the
Only
cactus
for
of science.
Science.
Has over 5,000 prints from almost 300 dinosaur species.
I heard about those. There's this huge rock wall that's 80 meters high, 1,200 meters long.
Wait, 300?
Did he say meters? Are these supposed
No,
to be
he said
Americans?
300 dinosaur species. No.
We pick up on completely different things that
they could
both
be,
don't make sense.
They could be Canadian, right? I mean, they use meters.
Could be Canadian, eh? L,
they might
are they
actually
Canadian? Can you tell? They don't have poutine.
I mean, one of them does have a beanie, though.
I will say it is a really big rock wall, but he just said, sorry, gee, I'm yawning. 300 dinosaur species. No. There are about 5,000 footprints apparently, with 15 individual types of dinosaurs. Also, it is over a kilometer long, this wall is. Holy cow. That's big. It's big, big.
Long and tilted up 73 degrees.
Yep, see, got it right here. Yeah, all these prints show hundreds of dinosaur species scampering from high ground during the final stages of the flood, even with some humans doing the same. Crazy, right?
Yeah, call me a skeptic, but I think you ought to check this out even more before you talk to Professor Bradley. Did you find anything about...
Yeah, because he's lying. There are no... I'm not even seeing any proposed human tracks from this place.
But Doc, the Bible said a thing.
The Bible did said a thing.
Yeah, you are forgetting to account for that god magic once again.
It's true. In fact, this book says lots of things. All sorts of interesting things.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Think about fossilized human remains, like skeletons buried in the layers with dinosaurs.
Yeah, well, I remember what you talked about with the worldwide disastrous nature of the flood and how it'd be very unlikely we find fossilized humans. I know there was 150 days before the flood finally reached its peak, so people would have to go up to high ground, but even then, the remaining people that did reach the high ground would have been picked off by the receding flood waters. So I know it's unlikely, but I think I have some possibilities.
Like what?
Well, yeah, here.
Maybe they
in
are
the 1970s,
Canadian.
the copper mining company.
That was Bible.ca. Why would they go to a CA website? Also, what's at Bible.com?
I don't know.
But yeah, Bible.com, that's got to be a lot of money to buy that handle.
Get a free Bible for your phone and tablet.
No, they're selling things.
Of course,
Of
it's
course.
just capitalism.
Buy my DVDs. A digital ministry of
Company.
life.church. By you version. Oh,
That
and
feels
they have
like
YouTube
something I would see on an old VHS before a really bad movie.
Holy shit, they have 744,000 subscribers with only 30 videos.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe it really is a miracle. I don't know.
It may be. It's
Are we in the wrong industry?
Oh, definitely. We are completely on the wrong fucking team if you want to make any money. It looks like they take long breaks. Like they just released a video 3 weeks ago, and then there's 2 more that are reading as a month ago. And then the 4th video back is 6 months ago. And the one before that is a year ago. And the one before that is 2 years ago. It looks like most of their activity was 4 years ago. Those are the videos that are in the millions of views range. 4 years, 5 years, etc.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Huh. Well, we'll say, folks out there, if you want to support something that's not a Bible, kind of trying to do more educational stuff, if you want to send a super chat on my channel, it'll help me get a proper home out here and do field work. So
hell yeah. And make sure you are subscribed to Doc's channel. It's linked in the description over on my channel, because I don't always make it to these Creation Science Theater videos, and Doc does a bunch of other stuff. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see all of that.
Gutsy. And yeah, I know I'm bad at pitching things. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, Doc has a Patreon too. What is it, Doc? I haven't been to my own
Patreon.com/DoctorDino. Oh boy.
Do we have anything else? Do we have DVDs? We should make DVDs. Ooh, do you have actual chicken nuggets? You should get some chicken nuggets. Where's Andrew? He was offering to make merch for Channels of Wild.
Okay. I mean, that could be interesting.
Yay, capitalism.
I don't know. I'm doing this on my day off. To try and raise money for things. So, yay.
Utah discovered 2 fossilized human skeletons that were buried deeply in layers that are supposedly more than 65 million years old. The first skeletons found here were under 15 feet of material, including 5 feet of solid rock. They were still joined together and were stained green with copper carbonate.
Ooh.
8 more skeletons were found here in the 90s, including women and a baby. And these were buried even deeper in the hillside.
Okay, now this is something I wanted to look up because I'm curious about it. Skeletons covered in copper?
Yeah, copper skeleton sounds fucking cool.
I'm gonna rewind a bit just to see what all they say about it at first.
Well, yeah, here. In the 1970s, a copper mining company in Utah discovered 2 fossilized human skeletons that were buried deeply in layers that are supposedly more than.
So Utah copper skeletons.
By now they've been
the Moab man or Malachite man?
Of course, because it's Utah.
Okay.
There's places in Utah with those names, but they're Book of Mormon references.
Oh, a later examination of the skeletons indicate that they are unfossilized remains that were subject to an intrusive burial, so that means dug down into rock, and have been dated to between 200 and 1400 years old. They're also native human skeletons, so Native American skeletons, and Carl Baugh bought one.
Of course he did!
But have you ever considered the premise, Doc, that all of these fancy geologists and paleontologists can't actually tell the difference between an intrusive hundreds of year old burial site and a natural in situ millions of year old fossil?
No, we definitely don't extensively study that very topic.
Nope, never happens.
I will say them being stained green is pretty neat, but it's not unheard of at all. People.
Do you suppose that they were buried in there because the First Nations people, or for anybody who's LDS out there, the Lamanite people were mining the copper, which was a thing we know First Nations people did from.
I mean, not impossible. Also, Carl Baugh was born in 1936.
He's a demon.
He's so old.
He's so old.
And yeah, apparently it was, at least for a time, on display at the Creationist Museum in Glen Rose, Texas.
Of course it was.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
More than 65 million years old. The first skeletons found here were under 15 feet of material, including 5 feet of solid rock. They were still joined together.
Oh, and actually, if anyone's curious if anything like this has happened before with humans, yes. There was actually a pretty famous situation in Africa, in Olduvai Gorge. If you look up Olduvai Man, he was buried in much older sediments than he grew up in, because sometimes the dirt / rock is loose and you can dig in it and you can bury things in it. And humans bury things, including humans.
Together and were stained green with copper carbonate. 8 more skeletons were found here in the 90s, including women and a baby. And these were buried even deeper in the hillside. See, there's no way this could be an ancient burial site because the bones here were buried 50 feet deep in undisturbed, hard layers of limestone.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything about them being buried that deep. at
The
all.
lady doth protest too much, methinks. Like we're the ones accusing, saying that it's actually a burial, and he's getting all defensive over it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's almost like he knows, or well, the script writers know.
And I can't find anything. Ooh. Oh, the National Center for Science Education has a passage on these bones.
Love it. Our
Yeah,
new
that's
friends are
I
helping
love
us
a
out already.
callback. Full circle.
Let's see, where's Moab?
In Utah.
Moab.
I know, I'm so helpful.
Yeah, what do you mean? Where's Moab? Moab, yeah, eastern, southeast Utah. Beautiful place.
All of Utah's
Oh.
beautiful.
Oh,
I
it's
was,
worse.
I was chilling one day outside of Moab, like maybe 30, 40 minutes outside of town, like under this tree in a little like valley with all these really tall red cliffs, and literally a like jumper, like a girl that had like one of those like parachutes or whatever, like jumps off the cliff like above my head while I'm like reading a book under this tree, and like literally parachutes down and like lands like right in front of me. Like I'm like, I thought she was gonna like land like 10 feet away from me, and it ended up being like maybe 100. It's crazy.
So somehow the situation got worse with Carl Baugh and his skeleton.
Oh, good.
He knew when he purchased them that the bones had already been dated young.
Of course, of course.
Of
Well,
course.
that's just an ideological disagreement.
Well, never let the fact get in the way of a good story.
Yeah.
They also don't think the bones were recently buried because they were disassembled, highly mineralized, tested to be very old by radiocarbon dating, and had no detectable collagen.
Yes, but that's just one spot with human remains, Jake. Professor Bradley would never let you get away with that.
Hang on. All right. So in 1805, they found the Guadalupe skeleton. They pulled it out along with a 2-ton limestone block and put it on display in the British Museum of Natural
Look at that.
History for 50.
It's not just one fraudulent hoax, it's two. Wow.
It's like it's a conspiracy or something.
Well, at least the previous one wasn't a fraud until Carl Baugh made it a fraud.
Yeah.
Well,
the frauds are the claims that go along with it. It's not the pieces themselves, it's what you try to claim them to be that determine whether or not they're fraudulent. It's whenever creationists get their hands on an actual discovery, they can turn it fraudulent when they all of a sudden claim that it's like it's Noah's little toe bone.
So I'm trying to find stuff on the Guadalupe skeleton, and the only things I can find are from creationist sources.
Yeah, that's never a good sign.
Yeah, this might be a hoax. Might be a hoax.
That never happens.
50 years. In 1985, geologist John McKay surveyed the fossil site and confirmed.
That's being very generous.
Geologist John McKay. Oh man, I've debated that guy.
Oh yeah, were we on the same stream when we talked to him and Hubbard, or was that a different stream?
I don't know, but yeah, they're Mr. There is not an actual order to the fossil layering guys over there. Yeah, some geologist who's trying to claim that there's not an order to the fossils we find segregated out into these geologic layers. So, I don't know, introducing him as a geologist sounds a bit icky to me.
If I recall, I think he helped found CMI with Ken Ham before Ken Ham left.
Yeah, they had a falling out.
Yeah, and I will be happy for a long time that I got him and Joe Hubbard to say that U Tyrannus is a bird.
Yeah, Ken Ham dumped him and moved on to bigger and better things like swindling into building a multi-million-dollar Ark encounter.
Confirmed it came from Miocene deposits dating.
Sorry, Ember.
I said there's a reason he's in Kentucky.
Yeah.
between 5 and 23 million years on the normal dating scale.
That's way before humans were ever supposed to be on the scene.
Yep.
And the fact that it's encased in limestone sure makes it seem possible that people existed before the flood.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know anything about limestone. So fun fact, limestone can actually form very quickly, assuming this is a legitimate fossil or set of bones. It can form very quickly because limestone dissolves in groundwater and then can reprecipitate or drop back out of the groundwater. And just like that, you get new limestone forming.
That's how we get stalactites and stalagmites and shit.
Yeah.
Wait,
Those-
and
Those
shit?
are really famous.
And shit, yes. You know, that stalagmite formation that looks slumpy like an ice cream cone.
I never realized that that was the process that was going on inside my stomach.
No, yeah, I went to geologist John McKay's talk. And he told us about this time where he took a trip to where the fossil was actually found. Check it out.
Are there any human fossils? Well, I was actually engaged in searching for a human fossil because I'd published an article by a Christian author about a fossil that had been put in the basement of the British Museum once evolution became popular. Then I got into trouble. I was the editor of the Creation magazine at the time. The head of the British Museum said, "How dare you?" Right? I said,
Wait.
"Well, you give me an article."
He paused it. This guy
Yeah, he-
looked like if Count Dracula was from Australia instead of Transylvania. Like if Crocodile Dundee had been like hundreds of years old and like bitten by a vampire.
Oh no.
Article, and if it's correct, I'll publish it. So I published their version. I noticed one thing in common in the two articles. Neither the British Museum nor the original creation author had been to where this human fossil came from.
Oh, man.
So John Mackay packed his bags, went to the jungles and actually had a good look on this place. Number one, it had never been mapped geologically.
Wow.
The French used to own it, so they mapped it to here, mapped it from there, but the place where the fossil came from was not on any geological map. That was very interesting. Secondly, I mapped it. Right? Thirdly, I reported back to the British Museum and I said, what you've said is wrong. Here's the maps. Give the guy full credit. He said, oh, you're right. Right? So if that was...
Can we get a location?
No.
Why would you
see
why
the
would you
map?
ever possibly question the story that he's telling you right now in front of a congregation? Why wouldn't he be telling the truth?
Oh, I don't. I have no idea.
Wait, why do you need these pesky things like documentation or sources?
Thou shalt not verify the thing that totally happened, and then everyone clapped.
Perfect.
was correct, the map wise, that made this fossil what the creationist author said, supposedly millions of years old. But anyway, I said, now that I'm here, can I see your human fossil? Sure. So down we went to the basement. Here's this petrified woman in limestone. Definitely, she was stoned, totally right, laid out there, and really in limestone. And I said to Dr. Chris Stringer, head of human fossils at the Naturalist Museum, a very prestigious place, I said, how many human fossils do you know of? He said, about 30,000. I thought, what? I said, why don't we read about them? He said, well, now there's about 2,000 to 3,000 in the official lists. There's another 10,000 in the unofficial lists.
Okay. I would need to know what he is talking about here, specifically.
The unofficial list, Doc.
Oh, also, I have a super chat. Thank you, Sydney Raptor. I'm Dr. Dino. How Rockhammer will travel.
Basically, any time that you're given an official list in any kind of museum or paleontological setting, you need to take that list out of the frame and examine the frame carefully, because usually it's hiding the true hidden list behind it.
Oh boy.
Good advice.
It's usually we like to call that in the business a national treasure type scenario.
So, but what I'm meaning is, I don't know if he's talking about Homo sapiens or humans, like meaning Australopithecus, or how far he's allowing it to go back, because I don't know where he stands on that. I don't know if he's talking about individuals or specimens. Specimens are like every single piece of a skeleton is a specimen. But they all belong to an individual. So one individual can have a couple hundred specimens assigned to it, especially if it's broken up. And sometimes fossils don't get a specimen number, too. They don't get a specimen designation. This can happen when a museum gets a ton of fossils all at once, and they develop a backlog trying to catalog all of them. It's a very complicated situation, which he is not elaborating on at all, and is just leaving it vague, and that irritates me.
It's very rude.
And there's another 10 to 20,000 after that in the if you need to know list. Right? And I thought, isn't that interesting? So there are really human fossils. I've seen one of them personally, and it's as human as you and me, right? But put that into position, there weren't a huge number of people at Noah's Day anyway, right? And even if they did get fossilized, it would have been in pretty much the scenario that Dan has mentioned: catastrophic, destructive. You know, as I like to tell them, they were judged by water. Now they're judged by fire. They're called petroleum.
He's a really nice guy.
Okay, that's a lot to think about.
Even they're laughing at this. Even they're like, oh, well, that's a lot of craziness to contemplate, maybe.
That's a lot to think about.
It's like Jaronism
Sure
just
is,
going,
kid.
Interesting.
Right? Yes, all the natural gas is the result of all the souls burning in hell.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's one answer to so where are all the human fossils that your model would totally demand? And it's like, oh well, they're just conveniently all got turned into petroleum because somehow the magical flood could figure out human fossils. We got to turn those into the goo, and then all the other fossils we got to preserve those into nice, neat, ordered layers that water wouldn't be able to sort them into to confuse all the future generations of paleontologists. And all the human fossils, pick those ones out, turn those into oil, run cars with it.
Seems legit, yeah.
But you know that even some creation ministries and scientists disagree about a lot of these findings, much less secular scientists. So when are you going to run it by Professor Bradley?
Next week.
Wow.
Give me the whole class time.
That's good, Jake. So what if Professor Bradley debunks everything you have to say?
I mean, there's no way he can. The evidence is overwhelming.
But if he does, do you just give up on your faith?
No. But I don't know. It's rock solid. You know, pun intended.
Haha.
Jake, I want to make sure.
The piano music kicking in.
Yeah, the hopeful piano music. Also for Ember.
Fern, hello. Fern sends $2. Thank you so much. Says AU apologists have ruined the Aussie accent for me. Okay, Australian apologists. I'm like, which AU? What are we talking? Astronomical unit.
Oh,
but yeah, that's
nation. It's in
fair.
space.
Yeah, I mean, it's really. Let's see. We've got Mark Reed, and I know we have a bunch of Australian friends in the chat, but the voices that we hear, it's pretty much only Mark Reed these days, isn't it?
Yeah, for a while.
And then everything else is Ken Ham and this fucker and that other fucker from that other channel. There's so many fuckers. It's almost like it's a continent full of, the descendants of convicts or something. I don't know. Not
well,
to be racist or anything.
So the rest of this video is basically just preaching like we must trust the Bible.
Oh, that's right. Ian Chen is from Australia too. I always forget that.
That's true. I did have another option for tonight if you two are feeling up for it.
Deviant reminds us that Ken Ham is technically a Kiwi. even though we got him from Australia because Kiwiland wouldn't take him anymore. I could probably do one more. I gotta be up semi-early, but not stupid early like I do on a work day.
I'm
Alrighty.
kind of fading over here, to be honest. This is
That's fair.
I was
Well,
already
hey,
feeling a
if
little
you
under the
stop
weather,
talking
and
for
then
2 minutes, we'll
2
know what
hours of the creationist stupidity has kind of done me in.
We have drained Grayson's brain.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Can't say I blame you. Well, if you want to tap out at any point, you can feel free, mate.
I want to see who the next video is, but like if you just see me like drop out, just know that like that was my last brain cell just tapping out.
Well, our next video comes to us from World Video Bible School.
Dragon myths or dino
Dinosaur
descriptions.
descriptions. Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
So we're getting into the more historical side of things, and no longer are we in the rocks.
Sterling says Mark Reed coined the term "kangawoo" yesterday for Aussie Nutter Girl. I love it.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
If dinosaurs and humans were created on the same day of creation, as the Bible teaches,
We're starting
and
loud.
once walked the earth together, it's logical to conclude that humans would have left behind at least two different types of evidence. First, similar to how we take pictures of places we visit and wildlife we see in modern times, those living hundreds or thousands of years ago would likely have drawn or carved pictures of dinosaurs and dinosaur-like creatures, as well as many other animals.
Yeah, for sure.
Indeed, as we've addressed in other videos, as well as in articles and books, it seems that's exactly what they did. Second,
yes, it looks like a
just as we
maple
tell
leaf.
Yep.
Everything
Well,
that looks
in
like
that
a maple
case-
leaf. And also, I mean, who doesn't whip out their Samsung Galaxy, whatever the fuck number they're on now, because I'm cheap and only have a Google Pixel, which does still do pretty damn well, I must say, but that's neither here nor there. But who doesn't start chiseling out images just casually, 6 or 7 dozen when you're doing selfies or you're at the theater and you want to show off the marquee, you just start chiseling away. Everybody does it super casual. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere you go.
Tell stories today of things that we've actually seen and heard. Ancient people would have also told stories about dinosaurs if they ever saw and encountered these creatures.
Would
People
they?
often refer to stories of the distant past as legends. Although sometimes told in a believable fashion, many legends, no doubt, are pure fantasy. They're filled with imaginary people and animals performing all sorts of unbelievable.
I have one of those right here.
If only there was some sort of consistent criteria by which we could determine which of those legends were true and which ones were not.
If only. But Al Trucker's he does kind of sound like Kyle Butt. I thought he sounded familiar.
It's the accent, but yeah, it's a little much.
It's a little bootyish.
Believable, magical, mythical deeds. Rip Van Winkle sleeping for 20 years under a shade tree, or Paul Bunyan and his blue ox creating Minnesota's lakes with their giant footprints can be categorized as legendary characters performing imaginary feats.
Okay, wait.
Legends,
Pause
however,
it before he ruins everything. Pause it before he ruins everything, because he laid out a great consistent criteria to which I really hope he will apply even-handedly across the wide sweep of all the various human mythologies, where if there's anything clearly supernatural that has no empirical basis to it and is an obvious hyperbole, then we should put it in the myth category. Let's see him apply that consistently now.
Also,
let us see.
The stories of Paul Bunyan were written down within Paul's own lifetime, which is way better than Jesus. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
Did Paul Bunyan act? No, he didn't actually exist.
No, he's
based on a
always
real
been
person.
mythical.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
I didn't know if it was based on a real person or not.
He was a Actually, he originated somewhat near me, slightly to the north. The woods outside Montreal, the lumberjacks used to talk about like the best lumberjack. And I don't know why they called him Paul Bunyan, but they did. And the ox was blue because the winters are so fucking cold. And as the industry spread, he gradually moved further and further west, and like he straightened out the Mississippi, which is why it's so straight today, you know, and so on and so forth. But all these stories were written down within the lifetime of those people. So it's basically within Paul's lifetime, you see? Therefore, it's more true.
Are not so fanciful. Stories that are ubiquitous, included in reputable historical writings as factual, and supported by science cannot reasonably be disregarded as just unbelievable legends.
Like Paul
Take,
Bunyan.
for example, the legend of a worldwide flood. Stories have surfaced in hundreds of cultures throughout the world that tell of a huge catastrophic flood which destroyed most of mankind and that was survived by only a few individuals and animals.
There are three. There are three myths that match all of those criteria.
Yeah, it's not common. Not common
Aren't
at
all
all.
of them in the Middle East, or am I wrong about that?
One is Noah, one is Gilgamesh. I forget the other one, but it's from the region.
Yeah, there's Atrahasis is the Akkadian, and Utnapishtim is the Sumerian.
Yeah, he's the one in Gilgamesh. And we know that the ancient Hebrews started telling the story of Noah around about the same time they got out of Babylon. Weird.
How interesting.
Scientific evidence suggesting the occurrence of a universal flood sometime in the past.
No, they don't.
Ancient worldwide stories of a worldwide flood are exactly what we'd expect to find if a worldwide deluge ever actually happened.
So why don't we find them?
Deluge.
So why don't we find them then?
Alternatively, maybe a lot of cultures live near floodplains because they're very fertile ground that's good for farming.
Yeah, it's really crazy how all of those cultures that have flood myths also just coincidentally live in floodplains. Like, it's crazy how that happens. And then the cultures where they don't have regular flooding don't have flood myths. Oftentimes, the creationists will say, oh, but there's like some native Australians that have a flood myth. And then you look into it, and it's actually a drought myth. The exact opposite of a flood myth. Like, it's a drought myth where a giant toad like drinks up all the water on the entire continent, and then like the toad gets tricked into vomiting it all back up by like another very clever animal, and it vomits up all the water back to its original place. And they're trying to categorize that myth as a global flood because all the water comes out of the toad in a flood and goes right back to where it was before and restores the natural order of things. It's like, that's not thing at all like the fucking flood myth.
It almost sounds like you're accusing them of lying about a story.
No. I wouldn't want to say
And cherry picking because they're ignoring all the data that goes against their thing, like the fact that the fucking Egyptians just kept on building shit right through the period when the flood was. So not only do they not have a worldwide flood myth, but they have written records of that time period, and no one noticed that they were all drowning. It's very strange.
Oh, I've heard the creationists claim about the Egyptians also have the global flood myth, and then they point to the fact that the Egyptian creation story starts with primal waters. And they're trying to say that the primal waters before the creation event is somehow indicative of a global flood like Noah's flood. It's just like the amount of mental hoops is just, it has to be dishonest. It just has to be. Like, it's either ignorance or just malicious dishonesty. Oh God, I think Deviant Outcast is like broken in the live chat right now. Hearing that.
Deviant is not having it.
I know. How dare you, Grayson? How dare you?
But what about dinosaurs? Is there any evidence from history that humans lived with these reptiles from the past? Are there stories of humans seeing and possibly interacting with large reptilian creatures?
I know that T-Rex. That's from a now defunct game that was trying to get made called The Stomping Lands. But wow, I'm that much of a nerd. I recognize a 3D model of a T-Rex.
Creatures that possess
soundboard
massive
back.
tails, fearsome teeth, hefty legs, horned heads, and more. Indeed, a wide variety of stories of large reptiles have been passed down through the ages from cultures all over the world. Many of these creatures sound very much like dinosaurs or dinosaur-like marine or flying reptiles. However, in the stories, they're never called dinosaurs because the term dinosaur, meaning fearfully great reptile, was not coined until the early 1840s, when fossilized dinosaur bones were first discovered and reconstructed in modern times.
You know that just a little thing there that bugs me. You can edit out the. I don't know if my microphone picked that up or not.
Wait, some kind of snappy poppy noise?
Yeah, the like lip smack.
Oh my god, I hate that.
They leave. Why do they leave it in?
Fucking amateur hour. I mean, just one of these.
Previously
Just a pop filter. Like, we're doing this shit live. Like, come the fuck on, people.
Yeah. Also, you stay away from Sue. Stay away from Sue. Also, this is
we'll do it live.
Old footage.
Attached to these fearfully great reptiles was dragon, from the Greek drakon. Have some, perhaps many dragon legends been embellished over time? Absolutely. Just as people today tend to embellish the size of a fish they catch or of a bear they see while hiking, people in the past said things about dragons that undoubtedly were exaggerations.
Wait, pause.
No.
Pause.
Such inaccuracy.
Because you know where you're really not allowed any room for embellishment at all is when it's divinely inspired revelation in a holy book that's supposed to be literally 100% true. So I don't know why we're going on about, you all know everybody likes to embellish the story a little bit. Your crazy uncle probably said he went on his fishing trip and caught a leviathan.
Well, because this is the excuse they're using today, Grayson. You can't complain about the excuse of the day. It's only here for today. It'll be gone tomorrow.
I feel like there's a joke in there and I'm missing it and I feel dumb.
I'm just saying they make up a different excuse every day and then throw it away when it's time for something new. Does that make any sense, or am I tired?
Why not both?
Yeah, those are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Accuracies, however, do not negate the overriding truth that fearfully great reptiles of many different shapes and sizes once lived with humans, any more than the differences in worldwide flood legends mean we must discount the idea of a universal flood.
Yeah.
Were legends of dinosaur-like reptiles only to appear in a handful of cultures around the world late in history, one might well argue for their dismissal in legitimate historical discussions. However, there's actually a vast amount of testimony from
the fucking lion from Babylon.
The
Ishtar Gate.
Like, his argument right now is that
that
lots
one?
of different cultures on Earth have mythical creatures, so therefore
Yes.
mythical creatures are real.
Well, therefore they're dinosaurs.
No, his argument is like, well, if lots of different cultures on Earth all believe in a sphinx, therefore there must have really been a sphinx. Like, that's what he's fucking saying right now.
You know, lots of cultures built pyramids, and we find sphinxes near pyramids. Maybe it's aliens.
And gay lions.
Oh yeah. Well, now I have to wonder, because the news report that just came out yesterday that I did over on Transpositions, which incidentally hit 500 subscribers. So thanks everybody who's
Yay.
subscribed on both channels. I'm hoping Bree's getting it run through the process now, but yeah, big, but super excited. Anyway, I mentioned the trans lions who make the news every so often in my story, and now I'm wondering if the gay lions aren't actually gay and one of the lions is trans.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm referring to when I say the gay lions, right?
I want my soundboard again. I want to play the Alex Jones clip. It's not lions, but that's what pops into my head.
They turn the friggin' frog gay.
Yeah.
So, in some institutions, especially here in the West, you'll see those. I don't know if they have an actual name, but those like Chinese lion figures at the bottom of stairs.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll see a pair of them, and they're both holding a ball in their paw. The ones holding a ball are male. If they're holding a cub, they're female.
Yeah, those are guardian lions.
Okay.
If you see two holding balls, then they're gay lions.
Okay.
Or at least that's what I've been told. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I've heard.
There's actually a vast amount of testimony from all over the world for these animals previously called dragons.
You know,
many of the same historians.
There's legends from all over the world about big fucking snakes. So, clearly we don't have snakes. We have very tiny dragons in the real world today.
Like,
We also have legends of Bigfoot all over.
The issue is that you could do this with so many different things that aren't in this guy's holy book, and he'll just say, oh, well, fuck it. Maybe those things existed too, and they just didn't write them down in the Bible. Who knows? And, like, he can just, like, his views are so amorphous, and he's so unwilling to actually stick to any declarative, like, this is what I believe existed then, that he can just change his views no matter what the actual state of the evidence is, to where he can always just feel like comfortable enough to where he can sleep at night and not feel like he has to change his worldview at all.
Yeah. Also, my backpack just fell over in the background.
How rude.
I don't
Scientists and authors who were adamant that dragons were purely mythical creatures often testify to their ubiquity of dragon legends. The famed 20th century evolutionist Carl Sagan admitted that the implacable mutual hostility between man and dragon is not a Western anomaly. It is a worldwide phenomenon, he said.
Because almost everywhere on Earth, humans have had to deal with big, lizard snakes, large reptiles that pose a danger everywhere.
A quote from famous creationist scientist Carl Sagan, a famous proponent of dragons.
Of course.
Well, didn't he introduce him as an evolutionist? Or did I miss that?
I think that Carl Sagan did do his PhD on the evolution of dragons. You're right.
Evolutionist Kerr Than acknowledged that dragons are found in the myths and legends of cultures all around the world. Although the 1996 edition of the World Book Encyclopedia claimed that dragons did not really exist, they admitted every country had them in its mythology.
Have you heard of hyperbole?
Every country? I mean, come on, man.
Evolutionist Daniel Cohen confessed that people all over the world.
Okay, you know what a dragon is? It's a vaguely reptilian monster in folklore. Anything that fits that vague description, you could call a dragon, and people have called dragons. They're not the same things.
The only word here that he's being more ambiguous in usage than the word dragons is the word where he's sorry, I lost it.
Sorry. Hello?
Hello.
Yep, waiting on you, Doc.
Oh, I was just giggling, and then you stopped talking, and I was confused.
No, I stopped talking and then you started giggling.
Okay. Wow, I'm more tired than I thought. Also, there's the weather alarm.
No,
Boy.
I mean, I'm the tired one because I forgot what the quote that it just said that had the egregious word that made me start that sentence. So
Well, hey, maybe he'll say it again and you'll remember.
it's literally 5 seconds before he paused it, but yeah.
Exist, they admitted every country had them in its mythology. Evolutionist Daniel Cohen confessed that people all over the world have believed in dragons.
He confessed
several years ago.
Yes, confessed. Thank you, Ember. The word I was looking for was confession. He's being the only word that he's being more ambiguous in his usage of than the word dinosaurs is and dragons is confession. There's like anybody who says anything now is a confession.
That's right. I have to confess that I'm finding this. You dragged it out of me. This guy's insufferable. I admit it. In fact, I've been hiding the fact that lots of cultures have flood myths. You wouldn't have never known if I didn't confess it to you.
So if Dapper is to be trusted, and I pronounce this right, the word tannin is a rare and exciting word that's translated as sea monster or dragon.
Love it.
It's also the thing we use to make leather. Tannin.
Animal Planet aired a program about dragons that incorporated legend, alleged scientific facts, and various theories, including and especially evolution. It was a highly publicized film that put a spotlight on dragons.
Okay, I will agree, all that is true, and the documentary he's talking about, mockumentary, is called Dragons, a Fantasy Made Real. It's actually a really fun, kind of speculative evolution take on the dragon myth. And it's actually a pretty fun watch. I'd actually recommend it.
Although it was far from a legitimate documentary, several statements from the film reinforced the worldwide nature of dragon stories. Within the first minute of the pro-evolutionary program, the viewer learns that there is one creature remembered in the legends of almost every human culture that's ever existed. A creature depicted with remarkable similarity by the Chinese, the Aztecs, even the Inuit, who live in a frozen land where no reptiles are found. Even they have stories of this animal, the dragon. Cultures from different continents, people who had no contact with one another, yet all of them had stories describing the same mythical animal.
Yes, it says that because it is a mockumentary about the hypothetical evolution of dragons and how they're found all over the earth. Thank you, not but.
Whether evolutionist or creationist, skeptic or Christian, everyone seems to be in agreement
the
that
two
dragon
genders.
legends are universal.
Skeptic and Christian.
The two genders.
It's been a long day.
Second,
folks.
Yeah, me and my partner are having a skeptic reveal party.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
regardless of one's religious beliefs, virtually everyone also agrees that dragon legends are characterized by their long-standing tradition. In his
I
book,
think that they're
What does that
characterized.
even mean?
I think that they're characterized by their long, scaly tails.
I mean, first, yes, I agree with you, but Regardless of one's religious beliefs, everyone agrees that dragon legends are characterized by their long-standing tradition. Like every other thing that can be called a legend? Like, isn't it being a long-standing tradition kind of required for something to be a legend, or am I missing something?
Well, I suppose you could have a legend that's like brand new. Like, I mean, well, you got to define legend. Like, what's a legend? What's a tall tale? We know it has to be like old as shit to be a proper myth, but like a legend could, like Mickey Mantle, legend in his own time, you know?
Mickey Mantle?
Baseball guy. I'm not a sports ball person, but American history, it kind of bits and pieces stick in my head.
In his book, History Begins at Sumer, Dr. Samuel Kramer observed how the dragon slaying theme was an important motif in the Sumerian mythology of the 3rd millennium BC.
Gee, I wonder what dangerous wildlife the Sumerians had to deal with. Did they have any snakes?
I'm like genuinely thinking about like what they would even be referring to here, because like Gilgamesh and Enkidu go and kill like Humbaba, but he's like a big like forest ogre king guy, and like they kill a giant heavenly bull made of like stars and stuff, but like
yeah, the
I cannot
celestial
think
bull.
I can't think of any part of like I'm like, what Sumerian myth are they talking about with the dragon slaying theme? I can't even think about what they'd be referring to there. So
see,
I'm a little bit
Sumerian
lost here. I know Inanna had a tree in her garden that was infested by a serpent, but it'd be a kind of a stretch as to say there's a dragon slaying theme with like like I mean that's I don't know.
So apparently there are creatures in Sumerian legend that you could call a dragon.
Like what? Like
Basically using
I
the
swear if it's an Anzu bird or something, then I'm gonna be pissed.
well, I mean, this is just from Wikipedia, but I mean, yeah, Anzu, I don't
Yeah, so like
Boslu,
none
I
of these
don't
are
know how to pronounce that.
dragons. I'm just like I
But
don't
could you call them a dragon if you were wanting to be inclusive?
know. I don't think an Anzu
Yeah,
bird
is
is a dragon.
is Quetzalcoatl a dragon?
Like a feathered
More of a
serpent.
flying snake
feathered
god
serpent.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a flying feathered serpent. I don't know. I don't think it's a dragon. But
But
I
I've
mean,
heard people call it a dragon myth before.
yeah, well, they are, I guess, not real things. So ultimately, the categorization can get a little slippery.
Yeah, a little slithery even.
But
But then two quick things. First, Sydney Raptor is right here about tannin. I was just making a joke because they're spelled similarly. Tannin, tannin. And also Anzu here. Did you know there's a dinosaur named after that?
Huh.
is it like what kind of dinosaur? Because
It's
that's cool.
a
Like
huge Oviraptorosaur.
that's awesome and so perfectly fitting. Like one of my favorite Sumerian myths is one of the like the king like before Gilgamesh. He was gifted like epic superpowers because he like saved an Anzu bird's life, and it just bestowed him with like awesome Marvel superhero powers where he like runs at the speed of lightning and can jump with like jump in the air like lightning and stuff like that. It's like he basically just became like a superior version of the Flash.
Okay, I'm having trouble finding a good quality image, but this is a pretty good representation actually.
That's perfect for like what I was thinking of, an Anzu bird that can bestow like flash-like powers.
Yeah, and this thing is like 8 or 9 feet tall. It's too big. It's one of those
Giggity.
Oviraptorosaurs that just get too big, and it's terrifying.
Was it found like in Iraq or the Middle East area?
It's from the Hell Creek.
So they just called it Anzu for like shits and gigs.
I mean, as a reference to a legend. which I think is fine. Yeah, there it is compared to a human. It's too big.
The one to the right of it, it reminds me so much of the parakeets I had when I was little. I'm like, can you just imagine being pecked to death by a fucking 40-foot parakeet?
What is that to the
I
right?
see that. That's an Edmontosaurus.
Oh, really?
Edmontosaurus is huge.
I don't know. Maybe I'm like too far away from the screen. The face looks really funky.
You know, this is real size. They're too big.
No, I wasn't shocked at the size.
Okay. What were you shocked about?
The face, but it's fine.
Oh, yeah, the face looked weird because it was a far away low quality render, but
That's what I was saying, yeah.
yeah, but still, I love dinosaurs, but there's some of them that when they get big, I don't like.
The dragon seems to have always been in the mind of man. Animal Planet declared, this is the animal about which humankind has throughout our history been most compelled by.
Because they're usually the focal point of a lot of legends. Yes, they're important to folklore. Does not mean that they're real.
I just want to point out the fact that you could do the same kind of analysis for how many different human cultures in their mythology have instances where somebody's penis has grown a face and started talking. And you could do that exact analysis and find multiple cultural traditions and myths around different continents and people groups on Earth about talking penises. And then this guy, when presented with such an analysis, would of course have to conclude that talking dicks are real.
By his own methodology, yes, indeed.
Assuming you get consistency out of someone like this is it's a big ask.
Though we would highly disagree with Science Digest extended evolutionary timetable, the journal suggested the earliest dragon-like myths may have originated as long as 100,000 years ago.
Okay, I don't know how old that is, but again, you need to define dragon, and I guarantee that they're using a very broad definition.
For that matter, myths, like, yeah, dawn of recorded history, cool. That's 5,000 years ago. So anything before that is by definition not recorded history. In fact, definitionally, it's prehistory. So how could we possibly know what myths they had before they could write it? Like, cave paintings, whatever, but like, how do you know there's a myth associated?
If I had to guess based on the spread of the myth, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I
I want to highlight a confession from Mark Reed in the live chat. Mark Reed has confessed that he feels like anyone with this accent is automatically wrong about science. So thank you for sharing, Mark. I just wanted to show that just changing it to a confession can really change the tone of things.
It's true. It's true. But also, Jesus Tales helpfully points out that dragon myths are around for 100,000 years, but recorded history only about 5,000 years. That reminds me of the second point that fell out of my head while I was talking, because that happens from time to time. If our presenter accepts this information that the dragon myths are 100,000 years old, then everything else goes out the window, because it means the Earth can't be 6,000 years old.
Well, they never stay consistent on that, though.
Yeah, here we go with the consistency again.
It's closer to 6,000 years than it is to 4.5 billion.
Oh, well, this is like The Price is Right, isn't it? You got to be the closest without going over.
Dragon legends have been with humanity since the dawn of recorded.
Oh, also, so Mark, I just want to let you know that a little bit ago, we all agreed that it's really hard to take someone with an Aussie accent seriously.
No.
It just sounds like y'all are talking bollocks, and I know that's British, and my voice started shifting British as it. Yeah.
What have you done? What have you done? No, we confess that they all sound like criminals. I mean, scam
That's
artists.
right.
Well, maybe that's why Mark does such a good Kent Hovind impression.
It's his inner
It's
grifter
genetic.
coming out.
I did not agree about any of this. Please do not show me do not
was the
reenact me like
consensus.
about you think that's a knife? This is a knife. You know, I don't need any of that. I know what a knife looks like. Thank you.
And Mark responds with a dad joke. We are all criminals. Criminally fun.
It's a confession.
And that actually did make me want for the knife.
History. Dragon legends are not merely cute stories that our ancestors began telling in only the last few centuries. They've been told all over the world for thousands of years. Such antiquity and ubiquity deserves an adequate explanation. Why did ancient people...
Lizards and snakes.
Apply all of this to the talking penises as well.
Maybe that should be your catchphrase, Grayson. Apply this to the talking penis.
Well, I think that you gave us a pretty good catchphrase earlier. Like if you were thinking of what to put in your banner for your channel or whatever, you're like, I love dinosaurs, but when they get big, I
just stop right there. When they get big.
When they get big. No.
Ancient peoples all around the world tell stories of large reptilian creatures with serpentine necks, elongated bodies, enormous tails, hard skin, stout legs, spiked backs, knobby heads, fearsome teeth and claws, snake-like tongues, horned or crested heads, and some with bat-like...
Can you think of any group of animals that describes the majority of?
Your mom.
Diogenes would be like, behold the man.
Behold a man. No, you know what? Diogenes man would count for this other than the tongue. Like, it's just... So, this is why I think they're just going with the broadest definition of dragon that they possibly can. They have to be. Because... It's awful.
He's building a bullshit case. He's like, well, you know, there's these legends about these creatures that look like a duck and they quack like a duck, but they're fucking venomous. And apparently they produce breast milk out of blue pores or some crazy shit. It's a platypus. They're real.
Oh. Bat-like wings. Evolutionist Daniel Cohen admitted no creature that ever lived looked more like dragons than dinosaurs.
Admitted in his published book. He admitted it.
It's just true.
Wow. Yeah, that's like just like a confession. Just like to his priest.
Also, they just showed video of a fucking dragon from like, you know, Dragonheart 5 or whatever. But still, I mean, that's the best evidence so far. It's video. How could it possibly not?
Also, Mark is right. That is a wyvern, sir.
Oh.
Now we're getting specific. Okay, drakes don't count either.
It's like if I went back.
The 1997.
Sorry.
It's like if I went and was like trying to prove the existence of like Garuda, like the little like eagle, like the like little bird people in like some like Southern Asian mythologies. If I was trying to like prove Garuda existed, and I'm like, well, you see, like Garuda is the giant we found these giant bones of like Haast's eagle in New Zealand, these wingspans that could support a man's weight, 14-foot wingspan. Oh, and you'd have to admit, of course, that of all of the prehistoric animals, that the ones that would most resemble a Garuda would be the Haast's eagle, right? It's like, okay, Sure. Like, of all of the animals, this one most resembles your like mythological non-existent one. What point is that supposed to make?
Well, it means whatever I want it to mean, Grayson.
Well, I think we've come to the conclusion that Garudas and talking penises and dragons and pretty much anything can be real if enough people make believe about it from long enough ago.
Why not?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
why
Just
not?
just because it's not around today. I mean, future creationists are gonna use the photos that this man used in his own video of people seeing dinosaur skeletons in museums and be like, well, see, they had the bones, so clearly they lived together.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I hate it, but you're right.
An edition of the New Encyclopedia Britannica referred to dinosaurs as gigantic prehistoric dragon-like reptiles.
Yet no one
Yeah.
is disputing that dragons and dinosaurs they have certain similarities. Like,
Oh, wait. Oh, this.
In 2003, a nearly
Oh boy.
oh, that's why he went so specific with the description. Oh, look, it even says knobby. I said knobby before I showed you the thing that I knew said knobby. So, clear. It's proof, Bible confirmed. It's all over, folks.
So I mentioned her before on my channel. I'm good friends with a Pachycephalosaur specialist. I told her that young Earth creationists used Dracorex as proof that dragons existed. She did not believe me. I might have to show her this.
Yeah, take a screenshot. Wowzers.
Also, fun fact. Do you know what its full name is? Like
According to the citation, it's Dragorex Hogwartsia.
Hogwartsia, yeah. It's a Harry Potter reference.
Hogwartsia. Leviosa.
Which book of the Bible is that?
Half-Blood Prince 7:14.
Yeah, Gryffindor chapter 6:11.
You know what? No, I am gonna take a screenshot of this and I'm just gonna send it to her without any context.
Absolutely. Just be like, hey, check this shit out. The King of
boy.
Babylon has heard
I don't know why
reports
you would
about
send
them.
It, I don't know why you would send it to her without any context. I don't think you should do that to another human being, but like you definitely send it to her, but just definitely provide context. You don't want to send like a random creationist like deep cut just to a random loved one.
Wait.
Yeah, and sent. That's fun. Oh dear.
Complete dinosaur skull was excavated in South Dakota. The long, knobby, spiky skull appeared so similar to ancient descriptions and paintings of certain dragons, the dinosaur was named Dracorex, meaning dragon king.
It's not because it looked so similar to ancient descriptions and paintings of dragons. It just looks vaguely like a generic dragon. And get this, paleontologists are nerds.
No, say it ain't so. Fern would like a
2003.
link to this video. I don't have the links. Dragon myths or dinosaur descriptions.
No, okay, yeah. This would have... When they found this, the Goblet of Fire book would have just come out. That's the one that features a dragon chasing Harry Potter around.
That makes sense. Okay, I thought it was just like homage to Draco because so many people ship. Never mind. So I randomly opened the Bible when we got to that part, and I opened it to Jeremiah, and there's the prophecy of the destruction of Babylon, where it's not Jeremiah, but the Lord says Babylon will be destroyed and never be inhabited again, even though it's still inhabited today. So the Lord is a false prophet, but details. The passage I happened to open to says, as I overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah along with their neighboring towns. There's more towns. The Lord destroyed a bunch of other stuff too.
Well, he is a destroyer god, apparently, so it makes sense.
It's pretty much that and manna. It's like he can make Cheetos and blow shit up. That's it.
I mean,
You know, what else do you need?
Evolutionists contend it's a dinosaur that's 66.
Because it is. It's a pachycephalosaur. We know what these things are. Like it.
That is a badass skull, though.
It is. It's a really cool skull. It sucks that it's no longer valid, but it's a cool skull. You know, here's a close relative. Is this a dragon too?
Yes.
This thing is 2 feet tall, and
verily I say unto thee, it is the tiniest, the weest of monsters.
Listen, okay, I never saw a sign that said you must be this tall to be a dragon. Okay, you can ride this ride anytime, little tyke. You're just a little cute little guy.
It just, it just needs a little more power so it can go through its evolution cycle.
That does sound
Yes.
scientific, those words.
That's right.
Okay, sorry, but I found more pretty dino art and I gotta show it because
No,
I'm
I like
obligated.
this much better. This is awesome.
This
Hell
is
yeah.
pretty. Dinosaur art rocks. Do more of it, people.
6 million years old and looks like a dragon. In 2011, fossils of a huge extinct flying reptile were excavated in Australia. The pterosaur had an estimated wingspan of 21 feet. When a study of these fossils was finally published 10 years later in 2021, one of the scientists working on the project said, it's the closest thing we have to a real-life dragon.
It looks nothing
Yes.
like a fucking dragon, you asshole.
Yeah, one, that's Quetzalcoatlus. That's bigger than what you're talking about. Second, paleontologists are nerds.
Yeah, I'm
Of
just saying.
course they'd say something like that.
I'm just saying, like, go back in time a couple thousand years. These people claimed, right, that all of these mythologies from all around the world are all shared in these characteristics because they're observing some real life dragon, and that these things are, quote, the closest thing we have to a real life dragon. So go ahead and show me maybe like a Chinese guy from 3,000 years ago. Like, show this to him and see if he thinks that's a fucking dragon, because that's nothing at all like a Chinese dragon in any way, shape, or form. But earlier in the video, he was trying to make the argument that, well, look, okay, don't get bogged down by the differences. All the differences between all these myths. Okay, let's focus on the similarities. Now he's trying to say that, like, I mean, just like they can't even get the transitive property in there through their heads to where if you were to say that, well, this pterosaur is the closest thing to a real life dragon, and the East Asian dragons are essentially the same thing as the European dragons. There's no transitive equivalence ever even thought about to where, oh wow, well, this looks nothing like an East Asian dragon at all.
Also, I'm putting a message in the chat. I need the Aussies to help me out. How do you say that? Because that's the pterosaur they're talking about here. And I'll also put it in the private chat for you too. I don't know how to say that.
Thapungakashawi.
That's what I'd guess.
That's as close as I think I could
Dog,
get.
you're not even gonna put it on screen, so now it looks like nobody can even see like that I just nailed it. Like it just sounds like I just had an aneurysm
Yeah,
because you don't have
here it
actual
is.
words. Yeah, thank
That
you.
clearly
Tapang
says-
Kashawi. That's what I'm saying. Like without the words on the screen, it just looks like I'm saying nonsense.
Sounds
That
like
does-
you're casting a spell.
It's a fucking, I want to say carnivorous pelican, except pelicans actually are carnivorous already.
I mean that's about right. It's I think it's an ahanguerid, which yeah, it's a fish eater. Oh,
You know, like
slash
I could
small
actually
prey eater.
even if I didn't even know that this was a dinosaur name, like if I just like overheard, I could envision like two Australians having a conversation about like where this would just organically come up.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like two Australian phrases smashed together.
No, it's like, oh, you know, like they're talking about a girl they know. It's like, oh, that shorty from the other day. He's like, was that shorty from Melbourne? Oh no, that was a Thupunka shotty.
That's how that works.
You really thought Pungwaka Mashali. I don't know what the
her too.
The fact is, the only reason to reject what appears so obvious.
Oh, Mark says it's more poon than pun.
The Poongakashawi? Oh my god, you are not a real people. I refuse to acknowledge that Australia is a real place.
Can someone get a wellness check on Grayson? He's making random noises.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Australia. That's where I feel like
this
I'm at right now.
This freaking face. He looks like a broken Pez dispenser.
Obvious and be surprised of the similarities between dragons and dinosaurs is if a person buys into the faulty assumption-based evolutionary timeline. As evolutionist Daniel Cohen confessed, the problem
as
is
opposed
time.
to his timeline.
Also, they're quoting Daniel Cohen a lot. I feel this is the third or fourth time he's been brought up.
I prefer Leonard Cohen.
Valid.
Or the Cohen brothers.
As far as we know, all the dinosaurs died out over 70 million years ago. That long ago, there were no people on Earth. So who could remember the dinosaurs?
Not
Renowned
quite 70
atheist Carl
million,
Sagan
but-
speculated.
And also non-avian.
Sagan.
Hail
Sorry,
Sagan.
what'd you say, Amber? Oh,
I said not quite 70 million, and also the non-avian.
Yes, the non-avian dinosaurs.
Speculated that humans may very well remember dinosaurs. He recognized the ubiquity of dragon legends and indicated that the pervasiveness of these stories is probably no accident.
Wow.
Dr. Sagan
What a
hypothesized that
confession.
dragons posed a problem for our.
What a confession. I don't really know the context of this. I could believe that Sagan was just BSing, but I don't know.
I mean, the fact that
our proto.
Jesus.
I don't know. This is like very this sounds like some pretty like loose language right now. So I don't know. Like if you were to ask him a follow up for this, I mean, he's not gonna say like like if you were to show him about how creationists are trying to use his quotations to try to make the argument that humans and dinosaurs coexisted, I don't something tells me that Carl Sagan might not be exactly empathetic to that line of argument.
You might find it funny.
Yeah, it's just like a weird feeling. I mean, I know that this guy is a young earth creationist and everything, but
Oh, and Fern has a good point here. Whenever an apologist quotes anything, you have to read the whole paragraph they stole it from.
That's true.
Often
There's
just the next sentence, I would add.
Yes, there's a rule with creationist sources. The next sentence usually debunks what they just said.
Is that what the Trojan source is, or is that something different?
No, Trojan source is when you cite a source as backing up your claim, and then when someone actually goes and looks, they see that it actually says the opposite of what you said.
Okay.
So human ancestors of a few million years ago. He then specifically addressed dinosaurs and dragons in a series of questions. Could there have been dinosaurs that escaped the extinctions in the late Cretaceous period? Could the pervasive dreams and common fear of monsters, which children develop shortly after they are able to talk, be evolutionary vestiges of quite adaptive baboon-like responses to dragons and owls? Notice that even Dr. Carl Sagan, one of the foremost evolutionists of the 20th century, could not get around the fact that dragons sound eerily similar to dinosaurs. Such speculation.
Because they're big reptiles, no kidding.
One of the foremost evolutionists of the 20th century has a degree in astrophysics.
That's right.
Okay.
Astrophysics is what qualifies you for evolution. Didn't you know? That's how
He's
that's how that works.
One of the foremost experts in evolutionary theory, Carl Sagan.
Well, he's an astroevolutionist, obviously.
Clearly. But we all know how hard he tried to get around dragons. I mean, every video of Cosmos was all about the dragon problem,
Yeah, like I used to believe in the Big Bang, but then I was like, how are they gonna fit dragons in there?
They don't compress into the singularity.
Yeah, like okay, you might have convinced me about the compression of water, but to try compressing a dragon, buddy. Yeah, you're gonna get bit.
Speculations on the origin
For those of you joining us later, that's a throwback to our first video.
Oh yeah, the first one of tonight.
Unless one believed that dragons and dinosaurs appear, at least sometimes, to be one and the same. Still, the best explanation that Dr. Sagan could conjure up while still holding on to some semblance of the faulty evolutionary geologic timetable is that our very early baboon-like ancestors encountered dinosaurs and passed their memories of them on down to modern man.
Yeah,
Another evolutionist by the name of
I'm sure that is exactly what Carl Sagan was definitely saying.
In its entirety. No need to check.
It's his central message.
Certainty.
Yeah, that's true. Carl Sagan has always said that.
Yes. It was his main message.
Of Kerthan
Oh, we're
also
almost
attempted to explore what may have inspired the look of dragons. Surprisingly, Kerthan acknowledged, of all the creatures that ever lived, pterosaurs probably most closely resemble the dragons of European legend. Reptilian and featherless, pterosaurs flew on wings of hide that were supported by a single long and bony finger. The smallest pterosaur was the size of a sparrow, while Quetzalcoatlus, named after the Aztec god, had a wingspan of more than 40 feet, making it the largest flying creature ever.
You know what? I agree completely with this quote. Except for pterosaurs being featherless. Other than that, completely agree. And yeah, that's what I thought.
Indeed, we agree with Kerthan on this point. Extinct dinosaur-like flying reptiles with large wingspans, claws, slender tails, and toothed beaks more closely resemble many dragons by a considerable margin than any animal alive today.
Must be the same.
Incredibly,
has to be. That's all they can be.
There's no other explanation.
Well, them and dinosaurs too.
So you admit it, you
Kerthan
evolutionist.
Yep, eagles
number
exist,
one
therefore,
explanation for dragon legend.
Eagles exist, therefore Garudas exist.
Yes.
Penises exist, therefore talking penises exist.
That's the
Anyone tuning
natural
in around now is
implication.
going to be so confused by all the talking penis talk.
Well,
No,
look, all you
it's
have to
like
do is do an anthropological analysis tracing the origins of different talking penis myths around the world. There's only one conclusion, okay? There's no getting around it. The talking peens were real.
Also, according to Fern here, if they recall correctly, Sagan was using the idea of dragons, a fantasy creature, as a kind of wedge issue, a way to get common people interested in scientific methods. You know, fair enough. Also, what about that time Carl Sagan said penis?
Checkmate.
Centered around
I'm
not
convinced.
animals, but comets. He wrote, to people living in ancient times, a comet streaking through the skies with an icy tail millions of miles long would have closely resembled such a creature. If comets were the inspiration for some dragons, it could help explain why dragons are ubiquitous in the myths and legends of so many different cultures in all corners of the world.
I have no idea. I just have no idea how to
I mean,
respond to that.
yeah, that's just random speculation. Like, there's no basis for anything. It just some guy went, "Hey, what if maybe that's the inspiration for dragons?" And that's it. That's all there is. Is one
Okay.
dude got really stoned and was like, "You know that comet? That could like be a dragon, man."
Are the litany of ancient dragon legends around the world indebted to comets for their existence? Such an idea is...
You know, it's actually kind of funny. So there's a game series I really love called Monster Hunter. And Monster Hunter has a comet dragon.
Well, that sounds incredibly badass.
It is actually. It has evolved a jet engine.
Well,
That's a little
well,
bit
maybe-
less cooler, I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe not a jet engine, maybe more like a rocket engine, but
I
it
don't know, it's still a
flies.
downgrade from Comet.
Well, it streaks across the sky like a comet.
well, that's just the hydrogen igniting in its fire-breathing glands, which are
Don't
stored in the wings.
don't explain away my god magic, Ember.
We all know it's actually the penis on fire.
Well, yeah, it's not even talking. I mean, what is this?
They make a cream for that.
Well, here's when it really looks like a comet, when it does this.
Oh, it's got the radon.
And it dive bombs you.
Love it.
Well, listen, okay. The existence of such footage clearly demonstrates that humans one time saw such a creature to have such a cultural memory. I mean, you think that they could have just come
Right.
up with this without these creatures, these comet dragons really existing?
You know, I think you're onto something, Grayson. We should start a ministry together.
Yeah. Well, I'm going absolutely fucking loony, guys. So I gotta go. You gotta preserve my mental health.
We have 2 minutes left.
I can't believe that you are so determined to finish this.
I'm a completionist.
No, the comet dragons. The comet dragons
is simply nonsensical. The explanations of dragon legends from leading evolutionists over the past half century are bizarre and irrational. If it were not for
Yes,
This
because those are
guy.
the only explanations.
This guy saying someone else's explanation is bizarre and irrational. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
The evolutionist commitment to their faulty billion-year timetable, it would appear they would have had few problems accepting what is so obvious, that dinosaurs previously were called dragons, and humans once lived with them on Earth. Though evolutionist Daniel Cohen admitted no
And another Daniel Cohen. For crying out loud, I don't know the guy, but leave him alone. Holy crap.
creature that ever lived looked more like dragons than dinosaurs. He went on to say that since dinosaur fossils are supposedly millions of years old, we have to assume that dinosaurs died out long before anyone could remember them. We must assume, he wrote, that dinosaurs have nothing to do with dragons.
That's right.
In truth,
He
the problem
admitted
is
it.
not.
He admitted dinosaurs have nothing to do with dragons. It's a confession. Therefore, dragons are obviously aliens.
Oh, hey, they might be onto something.
With dragon legends and dinosaurs, but with the assumption-based, faulty geologic timeline of evolutionists. The reasonable view is the biblical creation view, that humans and dinosaurs were created by God during the creation week and thus once lived together. The stories of their interactions were passed down from generation to generation.
Well,
when you take the time to really think about it,
the perfectly reasonable rational creation story contained in Ye Old Holy Book of Fables includes a photocopy version of the creation story from the Enuma Elish. In this version, Yahweh parts the waters. In the original that they copied from, Marduk slays Tiamat, the chaos dragon, whose body becomes the waters. That's why the Bible story talks about the waters above and the waters below. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. But when you consider that Tiamat, the chaos dragon, who is made of water, the lower part of the body becomes the ocean. And then when you stretch out Tiamat's skin across the sky to build the heavens, it makes a little more sense. If dragons are dinosaurs, then dinosaurs precede the creator God, which creates a bit of a problem for Mr. Yahweh is all powerful here. I'm just saying. This is what happens when you cut and paste your legends, folks.
About it, that's exactly what we'd expect to find if humans once lived with dinosaurs. Ancient stories of dragons from all around the world.
Oh, Sydney's got another one.
Biblical and historical evidence.
This one?
Yeah, he actually mentioned it earlier, but I got distracted, as happens often. The Dragon of Revelation, a red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns, appears in heaven. The dragon's tail sweeps a third of the stars from the sky and throws them to the earth. Clearly, talking about a dinosaur. I mean, that's what dinosaurs do, right?
Evidence fits together perfectly. If you'd like to learn more about dinosaurs,
Nope. Yep. Here you go, folks. He's blowing you a kiss goodbye. Do you two have anything to say?
Get away, get away.
Someone said I had great pausing skills. I guess they were right.
No, they were
Grayson,
so
do you have
wrong. They
anything
could not
going
have
on?
been any more wrong.
You have anything going on your
Get
channel?
it off
you
my
wanna shout out?
screen, dog. Get it off my screen. Minimize this.
Okay, fine. Okay.
But he was blowing you a kissy. Maybe it was his talking penis. Whatever. He's confessing his undying love. We killed Grayson.
Oh dear. Well then, Ember, I guess. Do you have anything coming up on your channel while Grayson dies?
I always have stuff coming up. So many things. Obviously, I have more than one channel these days, hence my link being better than ember.com to keep track of all of them. My main channel, nothing this week unless you're a member, and then you, as Deviant mentioned earlier, got a little notification because I do that thing. One of the perks for members is you get early release for all videos, and I'm finally releasing a regular format, traditional pre-recorded video again. Members have access.
Nice.
It'll go public next week. I forget when the fuck I set it for. I checked the analytics and it told me what's the best time to do it, and I just set it for that time. But but yeah, that'll go public next week. for this week, I'm going to be over on Mark Reed's channel tomorrow. Yeah, it's still tomorrow from my perspective for part 2 of our debate review. And you can catch me earlier on Saturday on Skeptic Haven doing 30 and 60. There's a lot of news this week, folks. I'm not sure we're going to get to all of it, but we're going to give it a good try. And speaking of news, I do good news on the transpositions Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. I think that's everything for right now.
Okay. Grayson, have you resurrected, or does Jesus still have the record?
Nothing is ever coming up on my channel again. I'm dead.
Sorry, did the not butt suck all of the life from you? Here, maybe you just need a reminder.
And Bree reminds us transpositions, as I mentioned earlier in the show, but this is a 3-hour show, so who the hell knows? 500 subscribers, which means you can look forward to, as soon as we get like all the process bullshit done, and assuming we have the watch hours, which I think we do, memberships, custom emojis, super chats, super thanks on videos after the fact, the whole apparatus, exclusive content, all that shit coming soon to the transpositions. So if you want to make sure you get in on the ground floor and you have the coolest member badge available because you've been a member for the longest, make sure you're subscribed.
Huh. So sorry. According, Tokenomics just notified me that some new footprints have been found near Lake Turkana.
Ooh.
And they look to be human-y. So that's neat. Lake Turkana in Africa, famous for Turkana Boy. That's cool.
From what age?
Wait,
are these the same ones from like a couple years ago?
It says they were found a few years ago, but they're being published on now.
Okay, yeah, I did hear about this like back in like I don't know, like 2021 or something.
And they possibly represent Homo erectus and Paranthropus boisei.
I vaguely recall hearing something about this, but my brain is too squishy.
So possibly multiple human species. That's exciting. Looks like there's an article on the Smithsonian Magazine, and if anyone was curious, that's what a footprint looks like. Sometimes they can be prettier than that, but a lot of them are like this.
You have to show the screen.
I have to show my screen. All right, I took it down because Grayson was complaining.
Hey, don't blame me, okay? You're the professional streamer.
Since when?
Thank you, Fern. Fern Love Bunson's $2 and says, "Oh yeah, transpositions! Woo!" Also, hi everyone. I added that woohoo. I'm excitable. I'm very tired, folks.
But, yeah, again, if anyone wants to check it out, it's on the Smithsonian Magazine, and yeah, that's a cool photo. Okay, I guess if Grayson has nothing.
I think that a good way to send it out will be quoting from the very. Oh no, never mind. This is the editor's summary. I thought it was the abstract. I'm tired. Sorry, but the actual article in Science of that discovery from Lake Turkana. The first line of the editor's summary. Sorry, it was in the place of the abstract. Not as exciting, but it says, "It is now well accepted that hominin evolution is a story of many lineages existing contemporaneously." So, yeah, just sort of fun little invalidation of all these creationist nonsense in just like one sentence.
I don't know. I feel like they'll latch on to that, misunderstand it, and also I forgot to show it. I feel like they'll latch onto it, misunderstand it, and claim it's evidence for their position, like everything.
Naturally.
That doesn't
if it disproves
sound like
you're wrong. It actually proves you. Bree says we still need more watch time. So if you're not subscribed to the transpositions, please go do that. And watch, if you only watch one thing, watch last night's show. It is the best show we've ever done.
It was truly, truly excellent. Can't recommend enough.
What did you cover, out of curiosity?
The FFRF Jerry Coin controversy.
Yeah, the new coin article.
I shredded that fucker. I mean, we all went
I
to
have no
town on
idea
it,
what you're
but
talking
I
about.
shredded
Yeah,
him.
well done, Ember. I was watching. I was like, "Woo, she's going off."
Okay, I'll check it out. Well, if Grayson has nothing to shout out on his channel, I'm hoping to get more dinosaur content out soon. If y'all like learning about dinosaurs, subscribe, check me out. Also, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, I'm attempting to move out of this hotel and into an actual apartment. But moving is expensive. If you would like to help an early career scientist, in this case paleontologist, have a place to live, feel free to send a super chat or thanks on my channel, or there's my Venmo is in the description of my stream if you want to just send it directly. But that's me.
Membership, super thanks, Patreon, Venmo. If you're feeling
No, that's true.
really fancy, do all the things. Send
That
Doc
would
a
be
dollar
appreciated.
in every place, and just shower him with love and affection for all the joy you got out of the random penis jokes and the other things that we did on the stream.
There were quite a few. All right. Well, with that, thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you soon.